You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Oh, it's good to be back. Postseason. And on the first pitch, Jackson Chorio sends one into deep right, and that one's going to fly out of here. Chorio with a home run to start it offensively for the Brewers. It's the 0-2, and a swing and a miss, and Yoshi Yamamoto with his crown jewel as a Dodger. It is a complete game. He goes the distance, and the Dodgers win Game 2 by a score of 5-1.
Well, you know what they say, kids. It's not how you start, it is how you finish. And wow, Yamamoto last night gives his first pitch in the bottom of the first to Chorio and then just shuts him down the rest of the way. Historic numbers in that game. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. Let's get it going on this hump day. Oh my goodness, we got lots of NFL news to tell you about, some college football news, some wonderful video. Alex Golish of USF, the head coach, Dan Mullen, are now going to be hired by, 8 different schools at the same time, if you believe all the rumors out there. We have reaction from both of them coming up this morning on the show. Historic numbers in the NHL last night from the New York Rangers. Numbers that please me to no end. Wait till I tell you that. We'll get to that. Also, Alex Bregman opting out of his contract with the Red Sox. No surprise there. Doesn't mean they can't re-sign him. It was absolutely expected as well. But, man, and then we have a great Josh Prey take on the James Franklin firing and getting $56 million. He has a very unique take, as you might expect that he would. And the one and only and Carl Barton, Carton has a take. On the Craig Carton show, he has a take on the WNBA and professional women's sports as well. That is an interesting one, to say the least. Anyway, good morning and welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. So much to tell you about today. Thanks for following me on Twitter, on X, at PShep326, on our Facebook pages, CSDN Florida, YouTube, Rumble, Kick, Instagram, LinkedIn. Call or text the show, 727-858-6650, 727-858-6650. Man, oh man, historic game last night in Los Angeles with the Dodgers. And then we'll have another historic night for the New York Rangers as well last night in their loss to Edmonton. But we say good morning to Angel Martinez. Lots of NFL news, lots of college football news to talk to you about. Great show lined up for you today. Trevor Harris from WQAM in Miami at 8:05. Bill Spiros back from Vegas. He was attending many conventions out there, or many meetings, or many seminars out in Vegas. We'll get his thoughts on everything that's been going on. And Mick Colaggio, our NHL insider, at 9 o'clock. Good morning, Angel. How are you? Welcome back.
Good morning, Pete. Thank you. It's good to be back. Let's see. What happened during the overnight? Oh, yes. The Lightning lost to the Capitals. Oh, and by the way, you were absolutely right the day before with the Lightning and the Boston Bruins. As you predicted correctly, the Lightning beat the Bruins.
Yep, they jumped out to a 3-0 lead, hung on for a 4-3 win. Last night, we'll get to the Chikrin with the overtime goal. And it was all Washington in the overtime. I don't know if you watched it last night. They hit the post in the first 15 seconds of overtime when it was 3-on-3, and they had several other unbelievable opportunities. I don't think Tampa even got it out of the zone in overtime. It was all Washington. So, but anyway, they still get a point.
Yep.
They still get the point. We'll do an NHL rundown a little bit later on. But last night, it was all about, the Dodgers and going against the grain, going against the stupid analytic people. Congratulations to Dave Roberts. Yamamoto threw a 3-hitter, gave up the home run to Chorio on his first pitch at the bottom of the first inning, and that basically was it. First postseason complete game in 8 years as the Dodgers beat the Brewers 5-1 last night. They're up 2-0. Some other numbers that are unbelievable. A dramatically different approach than the one of the Dodgers took last year when starting pitchers were working 6 innings in only 2 of their 16 postseason games. They have 7 quality starts in 8 playoff games this year, and their starters own a 1.54 postseason ERA. You're not going to beat this team the way they're playing right now. Absolutely unbelievable. And that's with Shohei Ohtani going 2 for 25 so far over his last 6 games in the postseason. He hasn't even begun to heat up yet. Anyway, Dodgers are 7-1. They won. They after winning 9 of their last 11 in regular season. Now they're now 7-1 in the postseason. The previous postseason starter to go the distance was Justin Verlander when he tossed a 5-hitter with 13 Ks for Houston against the Yankees in Game 2 of the 2017 ALCS on October 14, 2017, 8 years ago to the day yesterday. Meanwhile, Yamamoto's complete game, first for Los Angeles since Gavin Stone's 4-hit shutout on June 26th last year at the White Sox, and the last Dodger pitcher to throw a complete game in the postseason in the Wayback Machine, Jose Lima against the Cardinals in Game 3 of the 2004 National League Division Series 21 years ago. 21 years ago. That's how rare it is today to see this type of stuff. And it's the first time since 1970, Angel Martinez, that both league championship series road teams started 2-0. The Seattle Mariners own a 2-0 lead over Toronto in the ALCS heading into Game 3 tonight in Seattle. And as we know, the Dodgers own a 2-0 lead over the Brewers. They will be back in Los Angeles tomorrow. Now, 24, write this down, be quiz later. 24 of the previous 27 teams that took the first 2 games on the road in the best-of-7 series with the 2-3-2 format have gone on to win. The 3 teams to come back after losing Game 1 and 2 at home all came in the World Series. We all remember 1985 Kansas City Royals against the Cardinals and the Buddy Biancalana phenom that happened. Go look it up. The 1986 Mets over the Red Sox, which I don't count, and the 1996 Yankees against the Atlanta Braves. So 2-0, but it has been done before. It has been done before. But watch some historic numbers from that game last night. I just want to play one other cut from this game. I want to get to David Roberts. Of course, when I wanted, I can't find it. There it is. Okay, so here's Dave Roberts, manager of the Yankees, after the game, explains why he left him in.
Yamamoto had some big games for you last October, so it's not like this is totally coming out of nowhere. But in the last year, what have you kind of seen come out of him that has allowed him to be the guy he was on this stage tonight?
I see a real confidence. I think that's what it is. I think that, last year, certainly there was a transition. And even in the postseason, I didn't give him a whole lot of leash. And we also had a really talented bullpen, which we clearly leaned on and have talked about, a lot. But I think this year he's got true confidence for me that third time through at pitch 90, he feels that he's the best option. And so I think for me, that just gives me that confidence.
Yeah, no question about it. I love it. Love that they went against the analytics. There's a lot of managers that would not have done that, but he did the right thing. He was after the first inning just about unhittable. Anyway, lots of NFL news. It feels like Wednesday again. No show. I am off to Rhode Island tomorrow for my 40th, the start of my 40th high school reunion, which I have not been to any reunion. Not 5, not 10. Not 15, not 20, not 25 or 30 or 35. But I am going to go to the 40th. And me and a lot of people going to our homecoming game. My Bishop Hendricken High School Hawks going up against Central. Should be good. But it's going to be great to see everybody. A lot of these guys I have not seen since graduation because all of us went sort of our separate ways. I got into the radio. I moved out of the state. I lived in Massachusetts most of my life. Now down here for like almost 9 years. So it's been great. And but it's going to be great to see a lot of people. I think there's only one of my classmates, Angel, that has passed since graduation, I believe, which is, we're all 58 years old, 57, 58 years old. So that's knock on wood. Anyway, um, how are you doing? You okay? Everything good?
Yep, everything's good. By the way, when you go up there for your 40th reunion, I did hire from the local nursing home a bunch of geriatric strippers. So you should have a lot of fun with that. It might take them a little while to move around, but they should be fine. But
That'll go over well at a Catholic high school reunion. Yes, absolutely. Why not? What the little can a man unwind? You know.
exactly. Now that'll be fun though. 40 years
Hey,
go back.
hey, WKS, strip. No, I don't think they go over well.
No, but it probably wouldn't. No, but the good thing is that you're able to go back. I haven't been back either. I haven't been back to any of my high school reunions. And granted, I was
You should, right? I mean,
yeah.
there's only about, you make about 4 or 5 really good friends in high school, right? That you might keep in contact with. And I'm actually down to I was up there about 3 years ago, I think, and we had a little mini. About 8 of us got together, but it wasn't just my high school friends. It was from my hometown of Narragansett, Rhode Island, where I grew up, and we all hung out at George's of Galilee, great restaurant that most of us worked at one point or another when we were teenagers, and that was fun. But I'm just, it's I'm worried about the weather's supposed to be nice up there, but in the low 50s. So
Yeah.
I gotta wear pants. I gotta wear jeans. I gotta wear a jacket. And I don't like it.
Yeah, me
I don't
either.
like it. And
I don't either. That drives me bananas. Like I hate it when it gets like down here. It's like last year. Granted, now we get colder than what you do down in Fort Myers. But last year we had a 3-week stretch where it gets chilly. And a lot of
no, we get to 38, 39 degrees in the morning down here, and the high of like 55. It happens. It's about 2 weeks out of the year that happens. But there are mornings down here in late December, early January, for like 5 days to 2 weeks, where you get well under 40 degrees in the morning. I mean, it warms up to the 50s and 60s by midday, but it does get chilly down here.
yeah, no, and that's the only thing that drives me a little bit bananas because a lot of folks it gets cold here. And now we don't need, which I don't understand. Like locally, Walmart, Target, all the stores, they have all this winter stuff as if we're up north, and it drives me crazy with the bomber jackets and everything else. But usually when it gets cold down here, like last year, we went through that 3-week stretch that it was way under what it normally should be. And then we had 2 days of warmth and another 2 weeks of cold weather. But thankfully, we don't get anywhere as nearly as cold, even from the northern part of the state, like up there in Tallahassee and the Panhandle and stuff, where they get chillier, which really isn't Florida. That's more like a stretch of Alabama, Georgia, because they get through the cold stuff. But
Yeah, they get actual snow up there from time to time, or flurries at least. Yeah, that was, geez.
they did last year. But other than that, yeah, it's just going to be another couple of days just being busy while you're off to your reunion. That should be a lot of fun, though. Hopefully, a lot of your friends end up coming back. For me, it would be more of a nerd herd reunion because I told you I've been a nerd all my life. And so it would be fun to get together with all the nerd herds. Those are still left around and to, pal around with. But my 40th wouldn't be until 2028 for my 40th reunion.
All right. Well, you should go. You should make, book a trip now.
Sure, why not?
And you were right outside of Philadelphia, right? Or were you in downtown?
No, I graduated. Remember, because I told you I started in
That's right.
Philly.
You're in Western Mass.
Yep, I was in Springfield, Massachusetts. So Putnam Vo-Tech High School is where I proudly call myself an alum from. Me and the rest of the nerds out there. But yeah, it was good. Now they have a brand new high school, so it'd be nice to see it.
What was your mass? What was your nickname? Your team's nickname? Your school's nickname?
For us, was the Beavers.
The Beavers. Nice.
Yeah.
Like Oregon State.
Yep.
Did you have a mascot that was a beaver? Like I went to Hendrick and we had a hawk, so we had a great hockey mascot.
We had ours was it was okay. It was more of a makeshift costume than anything else. But yeah, it was when it would show up at the football field, like, really, is that what we're doing? Can we just take it off and pretend like there's a beaver out there? But yeah, and of course, this is before all like the high end scoreboards and everything else, so you couldn't put someone up on the scoreboard to simulate a beaver. But yeah, it was goofy. But nonetheless, we had fun. The local rivalry high schools and stuff. But it was I hated the winters, absolutely hated them. But I had fun. It was fun being out there with my grandmother and the rest of my family. And since then, everybody's kind of gone their own ways.
All right, let's begin with the NFL, shall we? There have been, and I'm going to start yesterday with my boys on the Pat McAfee show, and then we're going to hear from the new interim head coach of the Tennessee Titans, Mike McCoy, who had his first press conference yesterday. We'll hear that video, but I want to scroll down, Angel, to Pat McAfee. It's right under the Dan Mullen stuff. We should get to. We got a lot of cool video to get to today, so let's get to as much as we can. Here's Pat McAfee on the Patriots. Time. Will they win the AFC East again?
And then the New England Patriots and Drake May are just stacking highlight after good decision. Mike Vrabel's even getting into fights with referees who allegedly are trying to make them lose, and all they can do is continue to win. All of a sudden, is it the New England Patriots' time in the AFC East yet again? That is how Patriots fans are feeling on this particular Tuesday. I know it was not only a good morning for you, I saw a lot of Patriots fans celebrating this morning about, is that right? The Buffalo Bills can't stop the run. Wait a minute. The Buffalo Bills can't win. Wait a minute. You know who can? Mike Vrabel and the New England Patriots. It feels like last night was the biggest night for Patriots fans as opposed to anybody else. Falcons fans, obviously excited. Bears fans, obviously excited.
Yeah.
New England Patriots fans that woke up this morning just like we fucking said it was. That is exactly the feeling it feels like out of New England?
Yeah, you nailed it completely. That's exactly right. And it's just nice now. It's basically all the receipts from the past 6 years are coming to light. And Bills fans who are saying congratulations on the Week 6 banner, hilarious since they've never won a banner. So it's just one of those things where you don't even have to respond to these people because they're so fucking stupid. And it's amazing to be here.
Yeah, congratulations. Obviously, we got a full Patriot fit today. Anytime the Patriots do something great, which was this weekend, and then the Bills do something bad, I think we're going to see that going forward.
Yeah.
Hi, Schmidt, great to see you.
I love it. Angel, if we could scroll down, and this is under Mike Lombardi, but it's under Turbin Davenport. Here's Mike McCoy with some of his comments yesterday, and he doesn't agree with the comments from earlier this year about the Titans being flat and other stuff. So here's Mike McCoy. Remember, he coached the Chargers not too long ago for like 3 years. Not very good. Finished 10 games under 500. But he's going to coach the Titans against the Patriots on Sunday in Nashville.
Your opponents can say what they want to say.
Thanks.
I don't agree with it, to be honest with you. I think if you look at how we've practiced, our players work their tails off. They work extremely hard every day. Okay, in the situation last week where the first couple plays of the period, not what we want to know. But I love the fact that at practice, somebody stood up and said, start it over. This is not good enough. We got to fix this. This is not acceptable. And there's a certain standard you have to have. And that's, like I mentioned Jeff earlier, I love that. That he, it's like I talked about, that's the accountability factor. If he wants to win so bad. He's a great example to look at from any player on this football team and say, if we all work as hard on a daily basis and go out there and play the way he is playing on Sundays, great things are going to happen for this organization. So I understand the frustration, but so.
Last night, Chad and Mike.
All right. Well, again, he taking over for Brian Callahan, who was fired, who threw Cam Ward under the bus, and the rest of the offense. And they got to do a better job of blocking for Cam. I think it could be. I'm always get that. They told you that Captain Kirk red alert. Whenever a new coach comes into the NFL or a quarterback, the team is going to play extra hard or try to play extra hard. I find that more when it's a new quarterback coming in, but this is different. Tennessee's offensive line, I don't know how much you can fix like that in a few days. I don't know. Do I think they'll play better? Yeah. Patriots are a 7.5-point favorite on the road, and I think they win. Maybe they win by 7. Maybe they win by 10. Cam Ward, I'm sure, his numbers can't go anywhere but up, but it's just that offensive line is absolutely putrid for the Tennessee Titans. So hopefully the Patriots go down there, take care of business. You can't script it any better, Angel. Callahan gets fired. McCoy takes over, and here comes Mike Vrabel, fired by the Titans, and he comes back to the first game that the Titans have a new interim coach. He goes back He goes back to the team that he previously coached, and we shall see. A lot of drama to say the least.
Yep.
Told you, Mike Tomlin yesterday, I thought said something really odd / stupid. He addressed the the Cincinnati Bengals. He addressed the Flacco situation going to Cincinnati. Now, they play at Pittsburgh tomorrow night. That's Josh Prey doing. That's not what I'm going to play. Although it is kind of funny. But I didn't understand why he even brought it up. Like, he went out of his way to bring it up, and he kind of insulted, like who cares? Why does he care so much that Joe Flacco is going to start, and the way the Browns traded him? He seemed offended and pissed that George, no, this is not, no, again, never.
Oh,
Come on, man. Why do I have to explain myself all the time? Never would I put on anything. It's the U. I've been a Miami Hurricane fan since 1976. This is all about the number 2, soon to be number 1 ranked team in the country. Never Dolphins gear. Are you crazy? Love you, George. Getting back to, so Mike Tomlin seemed offended about all that, and I thought he made really kind of asinine comments, that he even addressed it. But here's Joe Flacco yesterday. Nothing but respect for Mike Tomlin.
We beat him in the playoffs one year, and then a couple game winners. I hit, Cincinnati Bengal, TJ Houshmandzadeh for a game winner. I hit Torrey Smith for a game winner in the back of the end zone. Those were three games I can think of off the top of my head that were pretty fun.
Nobody knows Mike Tomlin as an opponent other than you do. You played him so much. What sticks out of Tomlin?
My buddy Mike Petraglia.
Listen, I think they've been. Look how consistent they've been over the last 20 years. How long's he been there now? Over 20 years or more. They're always physical. I think they found out who they wanted to be as a team early on, and they've continued to build their teams based off of that, and that's why they always have a chance.
All right, now there's more from Joe Flacco. Fascinating perspective on why he keeps playing and playing against what it's like playing against Aaron Rodgers. Again, my buddy from Mike Petraglia.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned in terms of wanting to play a long time in your career is that you've made a decision that football is important to you, and somewhere inside of you, you've told yourself that you want to play a long time. And because you want to, and because you've made the decision that you're going to, you take all the necessary steps to make sure that your body's ready to go and you're mentally still, energized about learning game plans and things like that. I think a lot of times guys in this league, no matter what your profession is, it does become work to a certain extent. And just because we're playing a child's game, it's not any different. You're not immune to kind of feeling like this can be work sometimes. But I think when you make up your mind that you want to do something, then you take the necessary steps to make sure you can do it. And I think this league has, especially at the quarterback position, because it's not like you're ramming your head against the wall 24/7 and dealing with that. So in terms of being, if you can be lucky enough to stay healthy from all the on-field stuff, I think quarterback's a position where if you make the decision that you want to play and you're willing, in my case, I think I've had to be willing to kind of deal with some circumstances that I'm not necessarily happy with the idea that I'm going to come out on the other end. I think for me, playing as long as I have now, that's been the hardest part, is just being in some situations that they're not ideal. They're not exactly what I want, but hey, it's where I am. I got to face it head on and have faith that, hard work's going to pay off at some point, and I'm going to be able to, be in a position that I do enjoy and I'm excited about.
Have you thought about how prepare you for this?
What's that?
That's helped prepare you for this.
I think so, yeah, because you've been in situations where you don't get to play that much, and I do think in a way it prepares you for stuff like this, because you get a new perspective on how much you do love the game and how much you do love being out there with the guys.
And throwing to Jamar T.
Yeah, of course.
How does it feel to be the youngest quarterback in the league?
Yeah. Yeah, it's one thing you guys can't talk about this week in terms of me being older, at least. But it's pretty neat. Aaron's been in the league a few years longer than me, but we both started playing in 2008. So I've been doing it for a long time. It's pretty cool.
Have you thought about how unique that aspect is, the fact that the two quarterbacks in the game are combined over 80 years old?
Has it happened before? I'm sure there's been some old guys.
All right, Joe Flacco. And why do I think that game is going to be a lot closer than people think? And a little bit of bulletin board material that Mike Tomlin provided a couple days ago. So we shall see. We shall see. What, Angel?
No, I said yes. I believe it is going to be closer.
All right. Other NFL news before we get to a lot of more video, lots of college video to show you. Alex Golos from USF and 19th ranked Bulls will take on host FAU. Big game coming up. FIU winning last night. It's the first time they won a road game. They won at Western Kentucky in Bowling Green, Kentucky. First time they won, I don't know, I think Haley's Comet. Since Haley's Comet.
It's been a while.
Unbelievable. Arizona's Jonathan Gannon made it clear that Kyler Murray, not Jacoby Brissett, is going to be QB1.
Week after this to let him have a couple weeks rest at this point?
No, when he's out there ready to play, he'll play.
Okay. I'm glad we cleared that up. Meanwhile, Ben Johnson on the refs during the Monday Night Football game, which they ended up winning 25-24 at the buzzer.
We should be used to it. I mean, we've been talking about that since training camp. So hopefully no one batted an eye. Like that's what happens in this league. Some calls come our way, some calls don't. We just keep playing. That's something that we can't control. And so we've always felt that way. There is no point in really going palms up or looking to complain to officials about it. If we need some clarity and the guys want to go talk about, hey, what did I do wrong? I'm all for that, but it's not like we're going to be complaining about anything. We're just on to the next play.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Ben Johnson, and again, the refereeing was horrible. You know how bad it was in the Patriots game. It was horrible in the Detroit-Kansas City game. Kansas City got no penalties that they accepted. It was horrible in the Bears-Washington game. It's honest. It happens too often. But here's Ben Johnson, also yesterday, head coach of the Bears on ESPN 1000 in Chicago, talking about listening to some of the commentary from Monday Night Football, and Troy Aikman in particular.
Win, so that's a triple whammy.
Yeah, I think you said it best. I love that perspective. It sounded like from that game the other night, a few people weren't particularly pleased with how we were winning right now. So I woke up this morning and my kids were watching the second half before school, and so I heard some of the commentary. But listen, in this league, any way you can find a way to win.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, let me go back to the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game coming up tomorrow night. I should have played this. I forgot I had these cuts. Here's Aaron Rodgers has said at times it's like he and Joe Flacco are playing a different position.
Oh, boy.
Kind of the old school 2000s, 90s prototypical quarterbacks. Where so many, even when I was coming in the game, it was the big guys who had the big arms. And now you're seeing, there's some smaller guys. There's obviously some really athletic guys playing the position. And I think he would probably agree with me sometimes when you're watching other guys play, you feel like they're playing a different position.
All right, here's more from Rodgers on the quick turnaround playing tomorrow night.
Thursday is all about the league and making money. We understand that. It used to be just Thanksgiving Thursdays, and they added, obviously, the Thursday games, and then Amazon coming in with a nice chunk of change. So we know what it's all about, but it's the same. Everybody's got at least one of these. So we just suck it up, we go on the road, and take care of business, and we get a little break.
Shut up. Just can't stand him. It just makes me want to go to the bathroom. Head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Todd Bowles, and people are still talking about Baker Mayfield chanting MVP, and rightly so. Very early in the season, but nevertheless, and still talking about that unbelievable 15-yard scramble he had the other day.
First impressions was go down, tuck the ball away, you're going to get killed. Then he broke out of the pocket. Okay, slide. Then he goes to the left. Oh, my God, he's getting ready to get killed. And this guy's crazy. I think he's going to make it. It's like, great job, Baker! And then you go to the next play.
Wow, that's a far cry from not going to fall for a banana in the tailpipe. I mean, that's really a far cry from that. Jeez. I've never seen Todd Bowles act that animated.
Me either. He's always been, I wouldn't say he's like Bill, but he's always been very just, low key for the most part. Holy craps.
Unbelievable. All right, let's do some other NFL stuff maybe a little bit later on. I got a lot of college video to show you, and then Josh Prey with his take on James Franklin being fired. Let's start with. I was going to start with Alex Golesh, but first I want you to see this. Under Alex Golesh, under Evan Klosky, Angel. Under that, we'll get to Coach Golesh in a second. But right underneath that is Greg Ehrenberg, and this is Mike Lombardi, who won't use a laptop. He uses a typewriter instead of a modern technology. And anyway, somebody thinks nobody will notice his headpiece. But this is the general manager of the North Carolina Tar Heels. He uses a typewriter.
So I'm just working on my to-do list, but I do it on the typewriter because it forces me to slow down. I have to think about what I want to write about, and the typewriter gives you that rhythm that you need to be able to slow your mind down and think. Yeah, you're going to make mistakes, right? And on a computer, you can delete the mistake. But sometimes the mistakes that you deleted have really powerful messages in them. And so when I first started to write my first book, I studied a lot of writers, and a lot of them were using typewriters. And I worked for a guy named Ernie Accorsi in Cleveland, who was a former newspaper man, and he had a typewriter in his office. So I kind of got used to using it, and it helps me slow down and think, which ultimately is what this job is all about, thinking. So I'm just working on my to-do.
Dear North Carolina season ticket holders, short and sweet, ... This is a rebuilding process. Thank you. Oh my God. All right. He uses a typewriter to slow down. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
And then when he says that if you delete something, it was really important. Usually when you delete something, it's like something that's misspelled. I mean, is misspelling one of those things like, wow, if I only would have spelled cat correctly.
How much whiteout do you think he goes through?
I'm pretty sure a ton.
I mean, unless he's got one of those fancy, typewriters that, go back, has the erasing ribbon on it. I don't even want to talk about those days. I don't even want to talk about it. Yeah. And I was a great typist. I still type really well. When you play the piano, you pick up typing, pretty quickly. I actually beat my teacher my sophomore year in a one paragraph. I beat her by 2 letters. I won a Pizza Hut gift certificate because I beat my teacher in the last. And when you're taking, which we had to, I'm not talking 1983. My sophomore year we took typing. I picked it up right away. I got an A in it, one of the few A's I got in high school, because the keys are invisible. There's but I mean, you learn A, S, D, F, J, H, K, L, semicolon, and once that, to me, it was like playing the piano. So I picked it up right away. But a lot of other kids didn't. I mean, most of the kids who were musically inclined, even if they didn't play the piano, but played another instrument, saxophone, clarinet, whatever, would pick it up. I mean, but Mike Lombardi, the general manager of the North Carolina Tar Heels, using typewriter. More bullshit excuse. I'm telling you, they're going to get spanked. Watch the Hurricanes tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and it should be a very good game against Louisville at Hard Rock. It's not going to be as offensive-minded as it's been lately. Both two very, very good defensive teams. And then Miami will win. And then Cal is going to kick the shit out of North Carolina, also on ESPN, right after the Hurricanes win. All right, let's scroll down. There has been so much talk about the James Franklin firing and opening at Virginia Tech and several other schools as well. And that's just for now. Actually, you know what, Angel? Before we go to Coach Golesh, let's scroll back up. I'm sorry to do this to you. I love this guy, Josh Pate. He's a regular now on ESPN or on Feinbaum's show, and Josh Pate on On3 Sports, which is aired on CBS Sports Network. And he has a really good take on Billy Napier, and he thinks the axe is coming sooner rather than later.
Cool.
How much gas was in the tank for Florida was what I wondered. Not enough. I think Napier is likely out. That's not my opinion. That's talking to people around Florida today. I think Billy Napier is going to be out. It may be after this upcoming game and they've got to bye, but I do believe that he's going to be out, and I do believe the Florida job is going to come open. I don't like it. I think it makes sense though. Like if you don't have to sell me on the logic behind it, I get it. He's had time. The result's not good enough for you. I get it. This one would be infinitely less egregious than James Franklin to me. So if that's the way it goes, that's the way it goes. I love Billy Napier, so I'm not gonna trash him. Do I play favorites on the show? Absolutely, I do, and that's one of my guys there. But it is a bottom line business, and the bottom line there is it has not been good enough. So I understand it. I do get it, and I think you'll see action on that front in the not too distant future.
Well,
How
yeah,
much
I mean,
gas was in the tank?
That's no question about it. Now, before we get to Coach Golish again, let's do Coach Dan Mullen, who has his UNLV team undefeated thus far. It's under the Scarlet Standard. Angel, just got to scroll down. There, you just went by it. There you go. And here's head coach Dan Mullen, former coach of the University of Florida, where he had an unbelievable record, but they decided to fire him anyway because he made some offhanded remark about recruiting, blah, blah, blah. Dumbest thing they ever did. But here he is saying one of those coaches that will never, he's staying at UNLV. Sure you are.
That is,
He hadn't even cleaned out his office yet. Your name had come up as a possible replacement for Yahoo Sports.
yeah,
How are you going to keep from this becoming
I'll be here.
distraction?
I'll make it.
As more
You
coaches,
want me to do that? I'm going to be the head coach of UNLV next year. I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere.
have you said that to Eric Clark and your players yet?
I said to the players, I told them that. I said, good or bad, right? It's a transfer portal world. I said, don't get all excited. Think I might go somewhere that you think is like a better place. I'm going to be here. You guys are stuck with me.
He hadn't even cleaned out his office yet. Your name had come up as a possible replacement.
All right, it reset, Angel. So,
Yeah. Hey, speaking of, let me get this out before we move on to the next one. All right. So there was a show that I was listening to on the way home yesterday on a predominant network. And remember we mentioned, would Cam Ward be the first one to ever start the NFL transfer portal? Word for word, that show said exactly what we said here, even before it was let out anywhere else. So
was it tongue in cheek? Was it a tongue in cheek thing, or was it somebody that heard what you said the other day and copied it?
No, they copied it. It was exactly word for word. I'm like, son of a bitch. How about that? So
that's former flattery. UNLV, by the way, Dan Mullen has the team 6-0 in the Mountain West Conference. They're 2-0. They could very well be at the very end here, one of the group of fives that makes it into the college football playoff. And wouldn't that be something to have Dan Mullen back in the postseason?
Yep.
Jeez, with the UNLV Rebels off to a very, very good start. They have San Diego State is 2-0, Boise State is 2-0, but San Diego State's 5-1, Boise State 4-2, and UNLV is 6-0 on the year thus far. Unbelievable. All right, now, it's about James Franklin being fired. There's an opening in Virginia Tech. Several other schools have openings as well. Let's scroll down this time. This is Alex Golish was asked by the Tampa Bay Times reporter Joey Knight, I believe, about his name getting thrown out there for other gigs. I mean, he says the right thing. Dan Mullen, by the way, just hang on a second. Dan Mullen and Coach Golish, with all due respect, I never believe a word of it. Nick Saban sat there for the Miami Dolphins, and I heard the cut again this morning. He said it for like 12 minutes. I'm not leaving for the Alabama job. I'm not leaving for the Alabama job. I'm not leaving for the Alabama job, until he left for the Alabama job. So it's good that all these coaches are saying the right things, except for Matt Rule, who went out of his way to filibuster for the Penn State job the other day, which is just mind-boggling to me. That would be a lateral move, and it's exactly the move Pat Kraft is going to make. You watch. It's going to be a lateral move over there unless something dramatic happens. They should go after a Dan Mullen type or an Alex Golish type. But Dan Mullen, would he fit the Penn State? Would he fit there? I don't know. I think he would. But anyway, here's USF head coach Alex Golish addressing stuff which we were bringing up at the beginning of the season, especially when they got off to a great start. They're ranked 19th in the country now. Will you ever leave the Bulls, Coach?
Where I hear it is on the recruiting side, because it's been this way for 2 years now. That question of, man, Coach, how long are you going to be here? And I tell everybody the truth. It's the same thing I've told everybody that's ever asked. One, I can promise you, I'm not talking to anybody, I don't, like, literally, I write it down on my calendar to make sure I check in with my wife every day. Like, because I'll literally get to 9:30 p.m. like, oh my God, like, I wonder how my family is. So to tell you that, like, I am as focused and locked in on our program and what we're doing, and I've always been like that. I was that way as an assistant. I was that way as a coordinator, been that way as a head coach. Like, I don't have enough time to literally, like, I make the joke, but I mean it. Like, there's not enough time in a week if you're doing this job the right way, as process driven as I am and as process driven as I force our staff and our team to be, to remotely hear it, see it, think about it. For me, the recruiting side, I've always told guys the truth. Like, I came here to build something really, really special. Like, I see this place, like, I chose to come here. I see this place as a really, really cool spot where you can build it the way you want to build it. They've invested greatly. They promised they would when we took the job, and they've upheld every promise that they ever made to us. I've never in my career, outside of coming here, chased the job, ever. And I don't intend to. I didn't have nothing growing up. I got more than I've ever needed. We're super, super happy here. My family's incredibly happy. To me, that's more important than any conference affiliation. Like, I've just never thought of it like in a sense of I got to go chase a job.
Stop it right there.
Just
Just
never have. I don't know. Maybe I'm different.
Sure.
We're not talking about, Coach, you chasing a job. They're going to come to you. I told you, this is like, I mentioned yesterday, Angel, I said, this is like Darth Vader talking to the Emperor about Luke Skywalker. He will come to me. His compassion for you will be his undoing. He will come to you, and you will bring him before me. Yes, Master. This has nothing to do with Coach Golis chasing a job. He is going to be flooded with some very, very good offers, and I think financially it's going to be hard, and they will be for bigger conferences, and it's going to be for a hell of a lot more money. And yes, USF is doing a great thing, the renovation, what they've done over there, their $350 million renovation, but Penn State is doing a $700 million renovation, and they have 101,000 fans every single Saturday. Look, this has nothing to do. Don't think for a second I'm saying he is chasing jobs. The same thing with Dan Mullen. They don't have to chase it. They're going to come to you. You're going to have to sit there and do some serious soul searching. And I'm not saying it won't be difficult, but no one should fault you or damn you for not having loyalty. If you get some gigantic offer, you be one of thousands of coaches in every sport in the past that have left for bigger and better things. That's the way it is. That's what coaching is. Yeah. You know, USF is going to be a stepping stone for the most part, with very few exceptions. Schools like that are going to be the stepping stone to get to other Power 4 schools. That's just the way it is. Same thing in college basketball. Same thing in most sports. Just the way it is. All right, continue.
Okay.
Different. Maybe I'm messed up. Maybe I should. And clearly this profession is getting crazier by the minute. I think when you have a really good job and you work with really good people and you've got it how you want it and you feel like you're getting better and you feel like there's a ceiling that you're nowhere near, like I'm just not ready to say, man, well, what else is out there? And that's just me. And some people I'm sure will call BS on it, and that's fine. I hopefully, as you look at my career, which however long it's been, just look at what I've done in terms of I've never, ever, ever chased a job. And I'm not intending to.
No one is saying that.
So the recruiting piece is where it's come up more than anywhere else. I've not addressed anything with the team because for me, there's nothing to address. Like, I think it's going to create a distraction if I say something, but I don't even know what to say because there's nothing to say. I guess if I was interviewing for jobs, maybe there'd be something to say, but I'm not. And I could honestly stand up here and tell you I'm so locked in, as the kids would say, 10 toes down right here. And we ask our kids, where are you? They'll tell you right here, right now. I'm telling you, I'm right here, right now. And we've got so much we're playing for. And I'm so excited. Like, I wake up every morning, I'm so excited to be the head football coach here. I'm so excited to represent this university. I'm excited to build something. I don't know. Look, it's mid-October and it's 80 degrees outside. Like, I guess unless you've lived some of the places I've lived, like you probably don't appreciate it like I do. I'm really happy. I really am. So I guess I don't know if that's the answer you're looking for, but it's the truth. And I don't know. I will say this. I'll leave it at this. If people are talking and saying that, it's a huge credit to our players. It's a huge credit to our staff, because the alternative, as you see when you turn on every Monday morning, it seems like this year, is the alternative is that you're not employed. And so if it's people talking about you having a job or other jobs, or the alternative is that you're not employed, I'll take that one. But it's a credit to our players. It's a credit to our staff. It's a credit to this university that they've been able to put a product on the field that people are attracted to, people want to know what's going on here. And I'll take it in the form of people showing up Saturday night and cheering on for these guys that have earned the right to get that. But it's certainly a credit to this entire organization buying into something and continuing to build, and I'm excited to lead it.
All right. I grant him all of that. All of that is true. 150%. The only part is false about him chasing a job. No one is saying you are chasing a job. I am telling you right now, my first, when Nate, and it's only the beginning. Penn State's probably going to inquire a little bit. Maybe it's not their type of guy. Virginia Tech, you can put that at the top of the list because they are going to go after him. They are going to make a serious offer. I'm telling you, mark it down. That will be a top choice for them. And it's possible, I still think the Florida Gators could make is it a big enough splash for the Gators to go after Alex Golesh of USF? Normally I would say no, but I think it is. Look what he's done. He knows the state. He knows the recruits. A lot of them, I guarantee you, if he got the job at Florida, if Billy Napier gets canned, which I'm sure he's going to, you could do a hell of a lot worse than hire Golesh. I mean, he's done a phenomenal job. So I think Virginia Tech and Florida are going to go after him big time. And Angel, I can't see him staying at USF because he's going to get, unless he's one of those few exceptions, Mark Few out in Gonzaga, coaches like that who stay the course their whole life. They just, that's it. They're happy and they're humble and they're going to stay. I don't see that for this guy, and I'm not sure Penn State will go after him because I think they're going to hire Matt Rule, which is a stupid hiring. It's a lateral move, but certainly in the South, Virginia Tech is going to go after him, and Florida is going to go after him as soon as Napier gets fired. There is no doubt he will get significant offers. No doubt in my mind.
Well, it's rare that I let out secret meetings, which that's the reason why I wasn't here yesterday. I met up with Coach Golesh and I told him, listen, I will offer you $1.5 trillion over 500 years if you end up staying here. Of course, it was a big farce, and he said, sure. No, but I don't, listen, he is going to be heavily recruited by other teams, and you're absolutely right. It's not that he's chasing a job. But what he's built over there at USF, I just don't see where USF would be like, listen, I understand if, Florida offers us some ridiculous number. All right, that's a whole different thing. I don't believe he's going to go anywhere, especially with this new stadium coming up in 2 years, in 2027. To me, it's just what he's built there. 2 years as head coach, now year 3. You won back-to-back bowl games. Granted, you haven't been to the national championship yet. Use the word loosely yet.
But college football playoff, which he very well could be this year.
Yeah.
Could very well be one of those group of fives that makes it, like UNLV.
Yep. So to me, he's not going to go anywhere. But yeah, he's going to, of course, he's going to be heavily recruited.
Angel, he is not going to be here next year. Virginia Tech has already said they are going all out. They are going to go after this guy. And like I said, it's going to be for a significant amount of money in a much high-profile area, in a much high-profile conference, and he's not going to pass it up. Okay. It's the way. No coaches in that situation. You can't blame them. It has nothing to do with if people are expecting loyalty in sports. You're crazy, especially in college sports. It happens all the time. And this is only one of the 2 opportunities he's going to get. He's going to be heavily recruited by the Gators, I believe, and certainly by Virginia Tech. They are going to go after him, and unless he is like I said, a Mark Few type that exception to the rule, because he could have gone to a lot of other more high-profile markets and conferences. He chose to stay at Gonzaga. I can't see it. And it's like he said, it's a credit to him. And trust me, he goes to the Gators. A lot of those kids on USF, bye-bye. Bye-bye, Ray J. Hello, Swamp. It'll happen. It's the lay of the land. That's the way it is. They will follow him to Florida. And you could do a hell of a lot worse than not hiring Alex Golesh, who knows the market, knows the recruiting area, is very good at it. And the people are going to be like, if he can do that at USF, can you imagine what he can do with the Gators? And they would be correct. It's going to happen. I would be beyond stunned if he was coaching USF next year. But one game, hopefully, they keep doing what they're doing, and it'd be great to see them, another Florida team, get in the college football playoff. But next year, enjoy this year while you can. Who knows? Maybe Dan Mullen comes and coaches USF next year. Who knows where Dan Mullen's going to go? Maybe Dan Mullen's going to be recruited by Virginia Tech also, guaranteed. But I think, Virginia Tech has said they are going all out, all in. Money is no option to get a coach that's going to make a gigantic splash. And I promise you, the Gators are going to be thinking, they're already thinking the same thing. If Florida is smart, if Napier goes, you go hire Alex Golesh. You go get a guy that knows the recruits in the state, the players, and all that stuff. I think it makes all the sense in the world. All right. But we'll see.
Yeah, if he leaves next year, I'll put on a friendly wager that I will wear, and I would never wear any other gear to my Eagles gear, but I would put on a Patriots jersey for a week straight on the show.
Wow. Okay. I'll send one to you. All right. If we could scroll down, got a couple more videos to play, to Kane's site. Now, this is really cool. Yesterday on the 3 Knockdown Rule podcast with Steve Kim, UFC CEO Dana White had some really nice things to say about the University of Miami. I want to play this.
On behalf of the Miami Hurricane fan base, we saw you out there at the Notre Dame game. I know your daughter now is part of the U. I'm going out there Friday for the Louisville game. The fan base would rip me if I didn't ask you this. Will you be making a sizable donation to the NIL fund? Because that kid's graduating next year. We're going to need a new quarterback.
More than likely, the answer is yes. I went to my first game, the Notre Dame game, and I met everybody and started I think I'm getting positioned to get hit up for. I see it coming. I see the writing on the wall. But it's funny. So I'm huge Boston Patriots, Celtics, Red Sox. I've never been a fan of a college team ever. So this is like my first college experience, and I'm really looking forward to it. And could I come in at a better time? I mean, they're ranked number 2.
I know. Soon to be number 1.
Yep, I love it.
Let's look at the top.
I love it. So we had Dana White back in the day at another Boston station I worked at. We had Dana White in studio one time. Again, I'm not a UFC CEO guy, but there was a kid from Brockton, Mass. I can't even remember his name. This is like 13 years ago. And Dana White was in studio with us, and one unbelievable, charismatic guy. Like I said, UFC is just not my thing. I don't watch it. I don't follow it. I respect it. It's just not my. It's not my thing.
So okay, since you've been down there, obviously to a Canes game, is the atmosphere as crazy as they talk about?
You heard Josh Prey a couple weeks ago when the Gators lost down there. It's like going to a nightclub. It's unbelievable. The atmosphere, and the versatility of the fan base. You heard what he said. There's all different types of fans, all different colors and creeds and all that. Doesn't matter. And then once you get inside the stadium and the game starts, you don't have a moment to sit down. Everybody stands for the whole game, for the most part. Those 3-minute commercial breaks you have on network TV, you can grab a seat. But yes, it's expensive for booze and food, but the atmosphere is unbelievable. It's the loudest stadium I've ever been in. For that Notre Dame game, it was off the chart, crazy stuff. So
you have to go.
Might want to bring earplugs for some of you, but it is nuts. It is crazy for big games like that, and I'm sure there's going to be a huge crowd for the Louisville game coming up. All right, a couple more videos, if we could. Speaking of Josh Prey, we're going to play Josh Prey. Josh Prey. has his take on Penn State's basically $56 million buyout of James Franklin. No, that's not. It's not that one. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers thing. It's above that.
No one.
It's above that.
Hang on.
Yep.
Right
There you go. So here's Josh Prey, a man from Immokalee and Naples. You heard him the other day. He was in front of a funeral home, a cremation center in Naples. That's not Denny's, not a church, but Texas A&M drove him to a funeral home where he said he could get a discount.
And he also said he had to take a loan just to get buried.
Yeah, he goes, y'all know how much it costs to get buried in Naples? He's right. Anyway, all right, here's Josh Prey on the James Franklin firing.
Being a Florida Gator fan, this made me throw up this morning because I want to win. I want my team to win. I want to brag. I just want bragging rights. Football does nothing for my life but makes me feel like I got bragging rights to my stupid friends, right? Penn State woke up and said, we'd rather give you $56 million than you watch you lose another game here. To Florida Gator fans, before y'all say fire Billy Napier, right? I want to win way bad, like way bad. A school fires a coach at $56 million. Where y'all think that money coming? I don't think they're just going to give him $56 million then hire another coach for another $30 million. Nah, we as fans gonna have to somehow pay for that. Whether it's that hot dog going for $3 to $7, that drink going from $4 to $8, those tickets going from $150 for some decent tickets to $375 to be in the nosebleed. We somehow gotta pay for that, and they gonna make us pay for that in the worst way. When you want to go buy a t-shirt to represent your favorite football team, that t-shirt used to be $17. Now you walk into that team shop and that same $17 t-shirt is $39.99 now. We paying for. They gave this man $56 million to not come to work. Gave this man $56 million and said, you know what, you just stay home. It ain't that much losing in the damn work. As a fan, I'd be pissed off. It ain't nowhere in hell you finna sit your ass at home and collect $56 million. I don't give a damn if you ain't our coach. You finna come hold these chains on Saturday. You finna do something. You finna vault. Y'all better put better contracts in order. If we fire you and we got to do you a buyout, you got to cut our grass for the next 56 years. You got to come and scrub these toilets. You got to sell hot dogs and sodas. You got to be the mascot over the. There ain't nowhere in hell I would have woke up and said, hey, James, you ain't going to come to work. We going to give you $56 million. Good luck. It ain't going to be no damn good luck in that meeting. You think I'm finna tell a person I got to pay $56 million to good luck at your next job? Penn State, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm a Gator fan, and we're an arrogant fan base. If we had to pay somebody $56 million to say goodbye, nope. Y'all don't understand. What, $56 million to say don't come to work? No. James Franklin would have been painting the field on Saturday. You understand me? It ain't no way in hell I'm gonna give you a $56 million check and say go home, get the hell away from. Ain't no way in hell. There's no way in hell. This man. Y'all better do better contract, because if they don't do a good job, he better change the oil in my car for the next 18 generations. $56 million to say go home? Who his agent? My name is Josh Prey. You could take 37% of any money you get booked for Josh Prey. Listen to me. If there's any manager or talent agent out there right now, if y'all can get me a contract, anything like this, I ain't talking about 56 M's. I'm talking about they gonna pay me to stop doing something. You could take 47% of my money. I don't give a damn. $56 million to tell me not to come back. James Franklin would have been sleeping with my ugly stepsister for the rest of his damn life for $56 million. You better leave some foreskin in this office for $56 million. Penn State, y'all got your ass beat to sleep on and off the field.
God. He is outstanding. Oh, by the way, and I forgot to add this team in because Mike Norvell might get fired too. And Josh, with all due respect, I think you forget Jimbo Fisher. That man's living the dream. The buyout he got at Florida State, and then another buyout of whatever that was, $70 million at Texas A&M. You think James Franklin got it big? Jimbo Fisher living the dream, baby. Living the dream. And don't think when Florida State fires Mike Norvell, which is a very distinct possibility, that's another. It could be a bidding war for Alex Golesh between Florida and Florida State. Honest to God. Don't be surprised. And then you throw in Virginia Tech. Those are the three. Oh, man. All right, one more. It's too funny. One more video. All right, so everybody knows how I feel about the WNBA, the National Women's Soccer League, the National Women's Hockey League, blah. These are just not, they're not the water cooler type sports. And you can like Craig Carton or not. He's speaking the truth. He's speaking what I've been saying for a long time. There's no disrespect. It's about what people are talking about. The WNBA Finals, by the way, the tickets at the end were going for $10. $10 for the finals. Spalding says, Pete and Angel, good to see you both. Angel enjoyed hanging out yesterday. Golish, he ain't going. Yes, Spalding, Dylan, he is going anywhere. He's not going to be there next year. Get it through your little thick skulls that he's not going to be there next year. He's going to be one of the most heavily recruited coaches in the country to go to a bigger conference. And as long as especially if he keeps winning. I mean, if he shits the bed and they went on some kind of a ridiculous 6-game losing streak, which ain't going to happen, maybe that changes things. But you guys got to understand, hey, my Providence College Friars have been a stepping stone for many, many coaches over the years. It just is what it is. Even though they're in the Big East and in a gigantic conference, even that type of program, a stepping stone for me. It's the way of sports. Before we get to Trevor, but I do want to play this, Angel. This is Craig Carton yesterday, and look, you can say all you want. You can talk about attendance records, this, that, and the other. Just go ahead, just play the cut. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
About your disrespect of the New York Liberty.
Of the whom?
Of the New York Liberty.
And what sport do they play?
They play basketball.
No, they don't.
They play basketball.
I want to be clear. Nobody cares about women's basketball. We cared about Caitlin Clark, and maybe you care about Paige Buckers. Is that Buckets, whatever? But
Beckers.
No, I mean,
She's a better player than Caitlin
I'm glad
Clark.
you brought that up because
people brought it up to me.
They're lying to you, right?
All right. I'm
because
the messenger.
because there's a small segment of the woke American community that wants to guilt you into feeling like you have to acknowledge or pay attention to women playing basketball. They're great athletes. They're really good basketball players, and good for them. But nobody cares unless you know one of them personally or you went to a school that one of them went to. We were trying to fool ourselves into thinking that the American sports public enjoys or wants to see professional women's basketball. We don't. We never have, and we never will. And I want to be clear. That's not a knock on the talented women that play the sport. I can't beat them. They're great at what they do. But no one cares about what they do. We fell in love with one person, Caitlin Clark, and the WNBA and the far majority of active players have gone out of their way to trash her and to make her unlikable, which makes no sense to me. But we're never going to care about professional women's sports in this country. And that's not me being a bad guy or being a caveman. That's just factual. And again, does not take away from the reality that they're really good at what they do. And I appreciate them as athletes. We just don't care about it. And we never will.
Never? There'll never be a time?
And these fugazi people in your chat, they're lying to you.
I'm just bringing it up.
They don't care.
See, I'm the voice of the people.
And you don't care. And I don't care. Nobody cares. Have yourself
I like Paige can
a
really
great day. You got game 2 tonight, Dodgers and Brewers, and then much more football as we move towards Thursday night football.
Look, he speaks, and again, it's what I've been saying. And ESPN tries to force it down your throat. Nobody's going into the office the next day saying, geez, can you believe the Aces won or the Liberty or whatever it is? The only time people talk about it at the water cooler is how people have shit all over Caitlin Clark. I mean, and you know, look when the playoffs were on. Look when they put them on. It was up against football. You know, no one's watching that. And yeah, some of the attendance is good because they give out so many free tickets, and they lose tens of millions of dollars. The league does. It only exists because of WNBA. And then you got the National Women's Soccer League and this other the Professional Hockey League. No one goes to those games. They cost money to turn the electricity on. It's ridiculous. No one is sitting there talking about a women's professional hockey game, it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Or soccer. You know, it ain't going to happen. No one is saying, I don't even know, whatever state you're in, and the Michigan Lady somethings, and nobody talks about it. It's not taken away from anything that they've achieved. They're great athletes. They, as Carton said, beat up on everybody. It is not, it is a small percentage. It's less than 1% that sit there every day going, God, can you believe this happened or that happened? It doesn't happen. I'm sorry. It's the reality. And they try to force it down your throat. They try to make you want to talk about it. I'm not talking about it. You know how many times ESPN has led with WNBA playoff shit over other way, way more important stories that people care about? And they have to show the fans with a whole bunch of free tickets. And they like to lie to you and tell you that the league is doing great. The league is not doing great. It's not doing great. Go look at the numbers. And you can say that these teams are coming into the league and they're doing this, that. It doesn't generate revenue. It doesn't. The attendance and the buy-in to the leagues does not mean these teams are generating revenue. They're not. They survive for one reason and one reason only, the NBA. And then you get Caitlin Clark who comes in and gets you, better charter flights instead of local. Get you a whole bunch of shit and you crap all over her. You crap all over it. I'm telling you, nobody comes out of there. 99% of the population does not come out of their house or get to the office and go, God, can you believe how the Liberty played last night? Nobody does that. Come on. Stop it. Stop it. Anyway, all right. It's that time of day. Time of week. It's a day early because I'm off tomorrow and Friday. But let's welcome in from WQAM, down the road a piece. Past Alligator Alcatraz. Into his own Alcatraz. Rolling out of bed on a Wednesday morning hump day is Trevor Harris, producer, host extraordinaire on WQAM, just outside of Miami. Welcome, Trevor. How are you doing?
That was an all-time rant, and I stand right behind you, Pete, on that one anyways.
Anybody who doesn't stand behind my rant, you're lying to yourselves. And again, people will say, oh, you're dishing on women. It has nothing to do with that. I would say the same thing about the MLS.
Yes.
It's in the same category. And I mean, even as popular, you know better than me, as popular as Messi is with at Inter Club Miami, does anybody call QAM with very few exceptions and say, except when he re-signed, like, oh man, how about Messi last night?
No
one does it. He's the most popular player in the world, or one of them, and he plays in a city that really cares about soccer. But your fans are not going to the water cooler talking about the MLS. So those of you who think I'm an idiot and I'm sexist and all that, go fuck yourselves. I say the same thing about the MLS. Nobody cares.
Agree.
People in Seattle care, people in Portland care, but this not water cooler stuff. Most of the country doesn't give a damn about the MLS ever.
Agree.
Ever.
And I grew up in a state. Where we didn't care about the MLS was the Metro source. We didn't care if they were on television. Cool, but we didn't care.
We carried the revelation on WEEI. They went to the championship 3 straight years. They lost all 3 times.
Yep.
But one time, my post-game show for the Patriots, we had to wait an extra half an hour because of that team playing. And yeah, Foxborough used to draw maybe a bigger crowd than normal, over 20,000, which is Portland and Seattle draw crowds. Miami draws crowds. Nobody is going out after any type of MLS game or calling a radio station or calling shows like this going, man, big. I can't believe Inter Miami.
That hat trick by Messi.
The Hurricanes and the Dolphins, you're not getting that. It's not realistic.
Yes, and also, I grew up in Connecticut. We didn't care about the sun. And they were at the casino all the time. That's why.
And nobody does. I mean, people think because attendance might be up that's generating revenue. I'm telling you.
Get the hell out of here.
Finals tickets were going for $10. $10 the other night. Stop it.
What's the processing fee for that thing is? That's my question.
Who won? The Aces, Las Vegas? Who gives a shit? I mean, it doesn't matter. I care way more about women's college basketball.
Yes.
Way more than that. I'll talk about women's college basketball from time to time. I'm not sitting there talking about the WNBA or the Women's Professional Soccer League. Did you see the commercials on it? Like, when is that on?
When?
10 o'clock? What? Who? Against what? Against the playoffs in baseball and college football and the NFL? Nobody is watching that.
And hockey, too, that started up already, too.
Hockey. How many people go to your average professional women's soccer league or hockey game? 10? Nobody.
5.5, maybe. 5.5 at least.
Ridiculous. It takes nothing away with how great their athletes are, and I'm glad then they...
And I grew up, my mother was a Title IX sport player. She played field hockey anyways. And the Connecticut Field Hockey Hall of Fame. I could say that, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
What's your mom's first name?
Nancy, by the way.
Nancy.
Shout out to Nancy.
Congratulations.
Thank
Connecticut Field Hockey Hall of Fame.
Connecticut Field Hockey Hall of Fame in class of 2016,
Ever
anyways.
beat you over the head with one of her sticks, when you weren't when you're acting up or threatened? Like my mom would go, if I'm Italian, my mother would go for
No,
the
she's not, but she did not go that way, at
My
least.
mother would go for the wooden spoon, and that's all she had to do. She would never
Yeah.
beat me, but she'd go for it. Would your mom go for the field hockey stick?
I am amazed she's not.
Damn it!
I'm amazed she's not done that when I was younger, but let's say that's good parenting. At least she did not do that.
All right. It's the
Friday Night Football we got this week.
Oh, I know. Which is I'm going to be in.
It's a good thing and a bad thing. I've been told the ACC they do it because they need ratings, which is bullshit, anyways.
Yeah.
And I think it's awful because the SEC doesn't do this. The Big 12 kind of does this, and the Big 10 never does this anymore.
Oh no, Big Ten. That's Friday Night Football.
Oh, they do. I just never notice it. That's why.
Yeah. Oh, they have Friday Night Football sometimes. They do. The I'm going to my 40th high school reunion. That's why no show tomorrow and Friday. So I'm going to be watching my Hendricken Hawks beat up on Central, and I'll be watching the game on my phone, and I'm hoping to get out to go see at least the second half. Against Louisville, which is going to be, I think, a much more defensive game than people let on. People are looking at 52-45 like last year. It's not going to be that way. These are two really good defensive teams, and it's I'm sure that this is the game. This is like going to be that Georgia Tech type of trepidation, type of anxiety type of game. But I still feel much differently about it. I still think their quarterback throws pick sixes like 3 games in a row. I think Bain's going to have another unbelievable game, but we'll get to the Hurricanes in a second.
Oh yeah.
But Wild thing once again, it's just once he still has a job. He still has a job. Greer still has a job. Stephen Ross still has his thumb up his ass about this football team and the way he runs it. He's great at everything else he does except for running this team. The sentimentality that's going to do him in is unbelievable. But the pedantic, blathering bullshit that comes out of Wild thing, Charlie Brown, a.k.a.
What was worse, Tua or Charlie Brown on Sunday? Anyways, let me ask you that question.
Tua first. On Sunday, the first part, Tua part 1, throwing everybody under the bus.
Oh, yeah.
Then part 2, Mike McDaniel not knowing what Tua said, which is weird. Doesn't the coach speak first and then the player?
The Tua spoke. Well, I saw Tua spoke.
Tua spoke first, but that usually doesn't happen.
No.
The coach speaks first, and then you kind of reiterate. If you can find your closed caption Mike McDaniel button, then you can try to figure out what he says, and then Tua should probably echo those type of things. We got to play better,
Everything's ass backwards down here in Miami. It's a banana republic.
Everything, and so you had Tua, and then Charlie Brown not knowing what Tua said. Then come Monday after
the hoopla,
after saying he got caught off guard, and then he goes back and. Pedantic blathering all over again. I don't get it. Everything he says is bullshit. That team has quit. It's just unbelievable.
And they go to Spain, and they go to Spain in a couple weeks. Someone's gonna get fired overseas, and I can't wait for it. That's why.
Why let it get to that right now? I mean, they're gonna have to trade pieces of this team away. It's the only team that is more pathetic is the Jets.
Yeah. Well, if you want a defense, it's more pathetic. That's Dallas Cowboys defense. Holy Christ!
Look, there's a lot of pathetic defenses out there, but the Dolphins, structure-wise, from owner to coach, is insane, and the Jets are no much better. Aaron Glenn, the way he coached that game against the Broncos in London, at the end of the explanation at the end of the first half, that's fireable offense. They're 0-6.
Yeah.
Ricky Kotite has been reborn, and Aaron Glenn. But anyway, what's the buzz been this week down? And I heard Joe go. I heard Joe.
Oh, Joe went off. I was like,
went off on the Miami Dolphins. And who's the co-host that was kind of not backing him up?
That was Hollywood, anyways. That's the producer, anyways. That's Hollywood.
What is his problem? He doesn't want to see Mike McDaniel fired. He thinks Tua's good. He thinks Tua.
No, he doesn't like Tua, anyways. But he wanted him benched a while ago, anyways.
He should have been. He should be.
A lot of people are fed up. People got mad at me at my podcast because I called Tua a snitch, by the way. So for going after everybody.
Everybody called him a snitch.
Oh yeah, I had a few Dolphin fans that want to beat my ass. Anyways,
Hang on. I got to find it in case you missed it. I mean, this was like, have they heard other podcasts besides yours, regionally and nationally, about?
I don't think so. We don't like to. They like to be in echo chambers down here, anyways.
Really? Well,
yeah.
Here's something for your audience, in case they're listening. This is Emmanuel Acho on the Dolphins, and you want to hear something on this part. This is on the Speakeasy podcast a couple of days ago.
If they don't respect them 2-5, I think Tua's got to go. There's no way to re-respect a quarterback once you've lost respect. And here's the other thing, if you notice, Tua already, I believe, has talked to the players because Mike McDaniel said that Tua had addressed the players privately. And now Tua's now addressing things publicly. Devon Achane, the running back, he said we don't have enough accountability. The entire Miami Dolphins organization is a complete cluster, and y'all know how to finish that sentence. It is a complete cluster right now. Chris Gears, the longest tenured general manager without a playoff win. Mike McDaniel, he goes to podiums and he acts like he doesn't know how to speak the English language. And Tua Tagovailoa is now sitting to the podium dry snitching. And so the Miami Dolphins organization, who do you want to follow there? Do you really want to follow the little scrawny head coach who hasn't led you anywhere? You can't really follow the quarterback because the quarterback's now dry snitching, and the quarterback doesn't have the necessary embodiment to be followed either. Tyreek Hill, he quit on the team last year at the end of the season when he walked off the field first. Then he had to come back and apologize. And he's hurt, so you can't even follow him. Jalen Waddle, he's never been able to be the vocal leader because Tyreek Hill's always been there. A-Chain, he's going on, year 2? Who am I supposed to follow there? Jalen Ramsey, we shipped him off. Then we begged to get Minka Fitzpatrick back. Who are we supposed to follow there? I do not know who the Miami Dolphins are actually supposed to look to and say, you know what, that's our leader. It's supposed to be.
Wow.
Guy snitching. Right? Use that. I love that phrase.
I'm going to use that. Jeez.
Oh, you should. They think what you said. I mean, have they heard?
I had a few Dolphin fans. I just called him I called him a bitch.
People. These are Miami people. They all saying the same. I've been saying it. The Gaines will back me up. I've been saying it for 2 years.
Yeah. I
didn't believe that. They haven't won a playoff game in 25 years. What are you? Hello, McFly. Anybody home? Jeez.
You play to win the game.
They don't know how to do you know what down here? They really don't. It's a loser franchise. They're the Jets. And people got mad when I called them the Jets anyways. Like people the Jets been to 2 AFC title games. But you guys act like Jet fans now, flying banners over.
Hey, at least they want to play. At least the Jets won a couple of playoff games.
Agree.
In 25 years. All right. Unfortunately, beat my Patriots in 2010 one year. They got to the AFC Championship back-to-back years. They didn't win it, but they won a couple of games to get there.
But they're acting like Jet fans now anyways. That's what they are.
I said this about Aaron Glenn. So after the game, I said he was the anti-Herm Edwards. Play that cut again that you have. Oh.
You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
So I said Aaron Glenn, after the Jet game, lost the pathetic performance to Denver in that great 13-0. You don't play to win the game. No. You don't play to win the game. Hello? You don't play to win the game. That's exactly what he did.
Yeah. Fireable offense. But I've been told by people like he ain't getting fired. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
So how were the callers after Joe went off, and rightly so?
So I haven't been in the I was in the studio Monday night. I had to do the Panther Flyer game. Shout out to the Flyers for winning that game, by the way.
Yeah. 5-2, revenge for the
five for 2, and I was at the game on Thursday. I haven't been around, but yesterday I was around. People are mad. Channing Crowder says, if any player has that dog in them to go up against Tua, like go chest up to chest, someone better do it at least, because that would never happen back in my day anyways. So I'm ready for a fight between these two. And I really hope Rex Ryan becomes head coach down here, because I really want to see Rex Ryan crack skulls down here anyways.
I feel like it's going to be like the longest yard for Tua.
Oh, yeah.
The part where Burt Reynolds, and I don't like the remake, but the part where Burt Reynolds starts to throw the game again for the second time. He did it in the NFL, then he goes to blah, blah, blah. And I feel like when the offensive line has just had enough, before he redeemed himself, and then they went again, but the mean machine, and you hear the center two guy go, Joey, move a little to your left. And they go, and they just do that on purpose so the defensive players could just tackle, they could kill them. You know, I feel like there's going to be such a disconnect. That Dolphin team. I mean,
they play Cleveland this week too. It's gonna be entertaining.
I know. You might see Shedeur Sanders in that game if Dylan Gabriel can't get it done. In Cleveland, Miami's losing that game. They're not going to win that game.
If they lose to Cleveland, this is gonna be a meltdown city, and I'm gonna be feet up.
Not fins up, but feet up.
Feet up. Mike like this, and I'm gonna laugh at every Dolphin fan like this, no matter what.
I laugh at him every day. I mean,
I do too. They laugh at me like, you guys lost to the Giants. Like, you guys lose more than anybody. So stop
How
it.
can they throw you lost to the Giants in your just like? Okay, have you seen the resume of the Eagle? You are going to throw one game like that in my face? So that's what people used to do with Patriot people.
Yeah.
Myself, they you only beat this team by 2.
I know. It's why, like, nowadays, it's like half these Dolphin fans, I try not to throw like my water in their face, anyways.
Yeah, it's like Bills fans. You're never going to win it. They're never going to win it, and now we're back on top. And hello, Buffalo.
It's 2007 again, almost. I looked at the standings.
Fantastic.
I go by this. I also tell the Dolphin fans, like, you'd wish you could be like the Philadelphia Eagles, have the history and everything, and have this 25-year run, but you'll never have it because, oh, wait, you did have it. You went to one Super Bowl and you couldn't win shit with Dan Marino anyways. So that's why.
And even though I love Dan, he's probably him. And
I say this down here. I'd rather take Troy Aikman and John Elway over Dan Marino. I have the Dolphin fan wants to punch my face. That's how bad it is now.
Well, all 3 great quarterbacks, and you could certainly make your case. You could certainly make your case if Dan Marino was on Denver. Who knows? Hey, if Ernest Biner and Metcalf don't, those turnovers don't happen against the Broncos in 87 and 88, 86, 87, 88. Who knows if the Browns don't put up a better fight in the Super Bowl than the Broncos did, but we digress.
Maybe
asking Marino to hand the football off to a running back is kind of like asking a brain surgery to operate on hemorrhoids.
Maybe if he handed the ball off to a real running back, they would have won a couple more playoff games anyways.
Yes, I do. I have a big fucking problem. Yes, I do.
Thank you, Jim Mandich.
So what's the buzz been? Has it been more about the Dolphins this week and the ineptness?
Everyone's pissed about the Dolphins. Everyone's pissed about the Dolphins. They even know it hasn't even talked about the Hurricanes yet. That's the funnier thing.
I know.
Which is crazy right now. Like, we should be playing attention.
If I'm Mario, I've shown the last 2 Georgia Tech games. Actually,
Yeah.
maybe not. I mean, I think we're past that. I think this team has a completely different
No,
mentality.
show the Georgia Tech game from 2023 as a reminder. Let's not do this shit again, anyways.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully, I think they're going to win by double digits. But I think the quarterback.
We got a trophy up for grabs too, by the way, Howard Schnellenberger Trophy, which I always.
That's right.
I asked Josie yesterday, like, we still care about the Howard Schnellenberger Trophy? Like, oh yes, we do. It's like, no one brings it up anymore, so I'm going to put in the title for this week's Hurricane Hotline. So
Yeah, 2 very good offenses, averaging about the same amount of points per game, like 36 and 35. But Miami's defense, it's held opponents to 87.4 yards a game, 14th fewest nationally, 2.8 yards per carry, tied for 12th best. And Louisville's not too far behind on that.
No.
But Miami just has better athletes, and they definitely have the better quarterback. The kid, Moss, the transfer out of Southern Cal, he's thrown for 984 yards on 90 of 131 passing over 3 games. But he's also, their running game is all messed up at Louisville, and this quarterback has thrown pick sixes in the last 2 games. Look, they got to take care of business. I hope the crowd is out of its mind.
I hope so too. That's my
Notre Dame game. I want to go in there and kick their ass. And I saw you producing that. And then afterwards, after Miami hopefully beats Louisville, and then you get to watch Bill Belichick in North Carolina on ESPN right after get humiliated in Berkeley for the Cal Bears. They're going to get smoked again. Smoked.
Is he going to last?
No, I don't think he will.
Okay. People have asked me, he's like, you're a Northeast guy. You're like, why you label me that? It's like Bill Belichick. I was like, I don't think he's gonna last. That's why. So
it's gone downhill.
That is a train wreck of all train wrecks.
Absolutely.
That's worse than Bill Callahan at Nebraska almost.
But speaking of that, and James Franklin fired, and now they're going to make
$49 million, baby.
56 overall. But they'll try to hire Matt Rule. Matt Rule is filibuster.
I hate it. I hate the hire.
Move. Both coaches don't beat anybody good. It's really
exactly. One of they should get. Sorry, Angel. I know we're home for the USF hockey team. Yeah. Just get Alex Golish, the head coach of USF,
we went through this earlier. Penn State, is not going to go after him. It's going to be a bidding war. Napier's going to get fired from Florida. Norvell has a good chance to be fired at Florida State, and the Virginia Tech job is already open. Those three schools are going to go after him seriously, and I've already made a bet with him. There is no way Alex Golos will be coach at USF next year. Absolutely.
No, he's gone.
No way. If the Gators are smart, they go after him. Guy knows the state, knows the recruits, and you could do a hell of a lot worse in Florida.
You could flip recruits too, also.
That's what I'm saying. They'll all follow him over there. Sorry.
What's the better job, would you say? Was the Florida job or the Florida State job if Norvell gets fired?
Oh, I took the Florida job.
Okay.
I think the Florida job.
I think the Florida State job's. It's also you have to face Miami, and it's a winnable conference.
Yeah.
And I think he could flip that program around because right now it's a G5 program, which I've never seen before.
There's going to be a bidding war. There's no question about it.
James Franklin would be perfect at Virginia Tech. I'll say that for sure. He can win you some big games. He can also lose you some big games.
He might take a year off and go sit in the booth at ESPN.
Well, I heard Big Noon needs.
Like Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen's another one. Dan Mullen is going to be heavily recruited.
Oh, yeah.
He was 6-0 at UNLV, so we shall see.
Dan Mullen, I would say this. I like to say the Virginia Tech, they need something. And I miss Virginia Tech being good. Get one of the big name head coaches, please.
Mullen would be great fit there.
Oh, my God, yes.
They've already said they're going all out with spending money.
Please. Frank Beamer is not happy right now. I know that for sure. Anyway.
Nobody named last name Beamer is happy.
No.
All right, my man.
Enjoy your high school reunion. I will say that. My mom went to hers this past weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, bud. And we'll talk next week.
We will.
Harris.
Upperable Podcast is coming out later today or tomorrow, so get ready for that, by the way. So.
All right. Sounds good. We'll talk next week. Trevor Harris, WQAM. Phil Casanetti's Sports World in Saugus, Massachusetts is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. Head on down there to Phil Casanetti Sports World, 184 Broadway in Saugus. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus, be there. Quick break. When we come back, Bill Sparrow's back from Vegas like Chevy Chase in Vacation. Well, it wasn't a vacation. Want to hear all about it. Bill Sparrows from bookies.com joins us next here at 8:30 on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding, Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
The postseason, and on the first pitch, Jackson Churio sends one into deep right, and that one's going to fly out of here. Churio with a home run to start it offensively for the Brewers. It's the 0-2. And a swing and a miss, and Yoshi Yamamoto with his crown jewel as a Dodger. It is a complete game. He goes the distance, and the Dodgers win Game 2 by a score of 5-1.
Complete game. What? See, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Bill Sparrows told me that long time ago. We welcome William back from Chevy Chase World in Las Vegas. And Bill Sparrows from bookies.com joining us. And you have to put Jose Lima in the same sentence as Yamamoto from last night, which is unbelievable the last time this happened 21 years ago. Just amazing. Anyway, welcome back to Civilization, Bill. Nice to have you back on. How you doing?
Always happy to be here, Pete.
How was Vegas?
It was actually it was civilized this time. Not nearly as mobbed as it's been the last couple of years. And one of the people who spoke at this gaming conference I was at, the president of MGM, talked about everybody saying that Vegas is dead and Vegas is dying. And his point was that it's down this year, but the comps over the last 2 years were kind of historic because those were making up for the lost 3 years of COVID. So this is really the first year that it's been kind of normal since 2019 in terms of COVID having shut down and then having 2 years of people trying to make up for it. But it was nice. I mean, you could actually move around. A lot of places I went to were like empty. It wasn't nearly the traffic on the strip in terms of driving from point A to point B. And like there were restaurant availabilities open, even where our convention was at the Venetian.
Mm-hmm.
So it was actually kind of nice. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was, I mean, the last 2 years I've been there, it was a zoo. And, you saw a lot of Asian tourists, but, there was still plenty of room at the tables, plenty of room at the machines, plenty of room at the restaurants. And even getting in and out of the airport wasn't bad at all. So it was a very pleasant trip, got a lot of good work done. Kind of got the feel for what's going on in the sports betting and prediction markets. And like we've said before, it's a very tumultuous, transformative time. It's a lot of fun for someone like me to cover it. And for people who want to bet, I mean, you have legal options now in trading markets to trade on these games and to even trade on props. So, you're not limited even in a place like Florida or places like Texas and California.
Can you explain that real quick to the about trading on
Sure.
props?
Sure. I've been covering trading markets for a long time. And basically with Polymarket and Kalshi and Robinhood, what they offer is they'll say, like, we can look at the Patriots game, this week against Tennessee. And basically, it's like, okay, who do you think's going to win the Patriots game? The Patriots or the Titans? And you're buying a share. You're trading against someone else with a par value of $1. So if you think the Patriots are going to win, obviously a lot of other people think the Patriots are going to win. So it might cost you 80 cents or 85 cents to buy a share that's going to win you $1. So you're going to win 15 cents if they win. That will translate to, roughly whatever their odds are on a sports book. It's really the same transaction. You're trading or betting on the outcome of the game. It's just done in a different manner so they can skirt laws that regulate sports betting. But it's legal. It's totally above board. Go on Kalshi or Polymarket. Polymarket's in the US, but they're beta testing the app, so it's really not available. It's really Kalshi's the only trading site that's legally available in all 50 states right now.
Mm-hmm.
But, you can download the app and or actually go to bookies.com first and check it out, then go there through our website so we'll get paid. And then download the app and you can trade. It's a little different than sports betting because you can trade out of your position at any time. It's like the stock market. So, if you were to bet, the Titans to win and 20 cents to win $1, and then they're up 14-0 at half, and now they're 50 cents to win $1. You can trade out of that position and take that little profit you've made. So it's a little different than traditional betting. And they do the same thing on props. They'll say if is Pat Mahomes going to pass for more than 190 yards?
Mm-hmm.
And trade yes that he is or no that he isn't. It's the same. It's the same basic thing as a bet. Of course, they don't call it betting because if they do, they're going to go to court and lose and be subject to the same rules and regulations that DraftKings is subject to. Right now, they're in court with 8 different states over that very question.
Wow.
And that question is eventually going to be decided by the Supreme Court or a federal court that the Supreme Court says we're not going to hear the case. This is, and I talked to a lot of people about this in Vegas last week because it was such a hot topic, and I've been covering it for a year now.
Mm-hmm.
And you have technology and capitalism, working at the speed of capitalism, but regulation and laws work at the speed of government. So right now you have this big gap between where the technology is and where the government is. So right now the trading markets are making a lot of hay because they're legally allowed to do what they're doing, And sports books, in the meanwhile, aren't. They're hampered by regulations. They're limited in what states they can operate in. They have to pay taxes. You know, to the states, 15 to 20% or even more of their profits. Whereas the trading markets, it's they're regulated like the Nasdaq or any other entity. They just take a small percentage of each trade, and they don't have to pay taxes to any state because they're a federally regulated entity. So it's kind of a very tumultuous, somewhat confusing time. But there are also a lot of people who are, trading in sports and betting in sports, and getting variances on the odds and trying to arbitrage their positions. It's become a lot more complicated than just simply betting a parlay or betting a side on a game or a total.
I saw another interesting. I just retweeted late yesterday. MGM pulling the plug on a proposed New York City casino. Baffles me that happened. Part one. Part two. Would they try Atlantic City unless there's an MGM down there I don't already know about?
Oh yeah, they have a property in Atlantic City called the Borgata is run
Oh, the
by
Bugatti. Yes, I played poker there. Yeah, it's a great
that's
room.
an MGM property. No, this was a surprise to everybody. And you know how it is, right? Like maybe I missed the official Red Sox press release that Alex Bregman has opted out of his contract. Usually the bad news, they kind of bury it. And this was just posted on their site. And, they have a PR service and they put these things out. I just saw it because somebody else happened to notice it, but they said nothing about it. I mean, they put out a press release, and they kind of, as a publicly traded company, you kind of have to do that kind of stuff. In other words, you can't just like disappear and say, "Oh yeah, we pulled out of New York 3 months ago." They had to make a public statement, and it shocked a lot of people because they were going to get one of those licenses. But the cost of a retail casino is astronomical, and I think that this is their way of saying that we think that online casinos coming to New York eventually, sooner rather than later. And we don't want to spend $3 billion building a land-based casino when in 5 years online casino is going to be available on everybody's phone.
Where were they going to build it exactly?
In
In
Yonkers.
Manhattan? And where?
In Yonkers.
In Yonkers. Okay.
So, yeah, it wasn't going to be, and the other one, the Hard Rock one is going to be at City Field or near City Field, kind of all on the periphery, kind of like Everett to Boston, I suppose, but on a much bigger scale. So, yeah, it was a surprise because they were like a shoo-in, but and there was some other issue with another one of their casinos where they apparently only going to extend the license 15 years and not 30 years. But the bottom line is this is really a tell, at least in my opinion, and that's all it is in my opinion. I think it's a tell, in my opinion, that they just ran the numbers. They just had an awesome quarter, by the way. Their earnings came out, and they got in BetMGM, they got positive reviews from analysts and stuff. But I just think they looked at the cost and realized, 5 years from now, is this going to be just like a big empty casino with like 40 people from Bayonne who are 100 years old smoking hooked to oxygen machines, and everybody else is playing online slots on their lunch break. And this, and they're going to make much more money in online casino than they would ever make at a retail casino. And, the biggest argument, especially in New York, which is obviously heavily unionized, the biggest argument against, and the same in Massachusetts too, the biggest argument against online casino is, well, what about all the workers at Encore or in Springfield or in Plainfield or in the case of New York at their casinos? I think, that's overblown. States where they've had online casino and retail casino, it really hasn't affected. It's totally two different audiences. And all the online casino bills in New York have put in job protection measures, and I think they would do the same. They're going to have to do it in Massachusetts because they're going to need the money. And I think what you'll see online casino in these places like Illinois, New York, and Massachusetts eventually. But, they'll have to put in protections for the workers and the retail casinos, and the retail casinos will most likely own the licenses, and they'll farm them out to other online operators, like they do in some states. Other states, they have open licenses. So again, like we always say every week, this is a process that's still kind of going. It's still ongoing. It's, flushing itself out. And we're going to see where it goes.
Now, is it any? Is this? I'm sure it is all related to just for instance the FanDuel Sportsbook, and you hear all this stuff that they blah, 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 and you hear all these people on TV and radio and digital reading the spots and all that stuff. Except the disclaimer: offer not available in New York. Is that all tied into this?
Well, I mean the casino part, or again,
anytime FanDuel does a promo, this and it's like offer doesn't apply to New York residents. I don't know. Every time there's always a catch about certain things that FanDuel does in New York, and they're not allowed for whatever reason. It's like the end of every spot that they do.
Well, I mean, those are mostly responsible gaming spots. Those are that's RG language, responsible gaming language that the law in every state says that they have to put on an ad. In New York, I think it's 1-800-GAMBLER in New York. So every time you run sponsored sports betting related content in the state of New York, you have to put 1-800-GAMBLER.
No, but this isn't that. They're talking about you can do these prop bet. They do a thing, and I agree, and I understand that part. But they'll have to put the disclaimer on about calling gamblers anonymous. This is about all these specials that FanDuel has, and at the end, inevitably, offer not available in New York.
Okay. Well, my guess on that is because in New York they're paying a 51% tax rate. Okay. So when you're paying that high a tax rate, you cut back on your promo spend. So my guess would be that they don't make those offers in New York because the tax rate there is so high, and that's just cutting into their bottom line.
Okay, that clears it up. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. So, anything else that came out? Anything big that you thought, whoa, that you went, wow, that's something I didn't expect that came out of what happened while you were in Vegas with all these conventions and seminars?
Well, again, I for the average bettor, I think it's status quo if you want it to be status quo, right? A more competitive marketplace, and again, these operators want to do these trading markets. FanDuel owns a trading market site that's been around in England forever, Betfair. So they do this overseas. This isn't new for them. Had Johnny at Velo at DraftKings was telling me they talked about doing this like 25 years ago at some of the casinos in Vegas. So this isn't a new thing. It's just new in the fact that it's widespread and available in states where you don't do sports betting. See, that's where this battle is really going to be fought.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, DraftKings would very much like to offer sports trading in California because they can't offer sports betting in California. But if they do that, they're going to piss off the regulators in Massachusetts, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York, because they're all suing trading sites. So they have to sort of balance their desire to want to make money in California against their current operations in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, everywhere else where they're licensed. And the other challenge they face is they have partnerships with the NBA, the NHL, the NFL, Major League Baseball, all of which have gone on the record saying they don't like trading markets because they don't have the same kind of customer background checks that sportsbooks do. So Jonte Porter could go onto a trading market and trade crypto and bet $500,000 in crypto on a game that he's involved in and, commit 6 flagrants and miss 15 free throws. So that's why the NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, NFL, they don't like trading markets because they don't have any say. They don't have a stake in it for one thing, but they don't have any say over how, who the customer is. It's called Know Your Customer, KYC. Whereas with sportsbooks, when you go to sign up for DraftKings in Massachusetts, you have to give them your license, your social security number, your date of birth, your sperm
Mhm.
sample, your blood test. And then they run that against a database that has the same sperm samples of every NFL employee. So if there's a match, you're going to say, well, wait a second. Bill works for the Patriots and he's trying to bet on DraftKings. Red flag, red flag, red flag. I go to a trading market. I just got to give them my social security number like I'm opening a bank account. And they don't have a background. They don't have a database that they're sharing with the NFL or the NBA. Frankly, because the NFL and NBA don't want anything to do with them. So it's a lot easier if you wanted to do something untoward in a trading market than a legal sports book. It's hard. It's impossible to like try to fix a game through a legal sports book right now. It is impossible to do it
Mm-hmm.
because the second and it was John Tay Porter, right? I mean, and these were $3,000 and $4,000 player prop bets, and that set up red flags everywhere. So they all use the same integrity monitoring services. The leagues, have picked one service that monitors all the bets. So anytime there's anything that smells, it sends up red flags everywhere.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a very good thing.
Yeah, and it's just like laundering money. Laundering money now is so difficult. It's not like in Goodfellas where he said, "Oh, that's a lot of money. Tell me you made it playing craps in Vegas." You went to a casino right now in Las Vegas with $65,000 in cash, and they didn't know who you were. The first thing I'm going to ask you is, where did this money come from?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, they're going to count it privately in a room, pat you down, and you either keep the money or the hammer, as they say in casino.
but they're going to ask you where you got the money, and if you got it from Lufthansa, Air France, I should say, if you got it from the Air France robbery, they don't want anything to. They don't want anything to do with your money because the IRS is up their ass.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to do these crimes that everybody thinks it's easy to do and everybody wants to do. But it's very hard to launder money. It's very hard if you want to do it through a legal sports betting entity. It's very hard to fix a game these days. Now, that doesn't mean that the refs on Sunday perhaps might have taken the under in that Patriots game. But, that's a different discussion.
And not just that game, atrocious in the Detroit-Kansas City game, atrocious in the Washington-Chicago game. We could spend all day on that.
Well, that's, Park Avenue picked up the phone as soon as they saw Taylor Swift on television. DPI on Travis. Yep. Oh, yeah. Didn't you guys see it? But that crew in New Orleans, and I'm not a conspiracy guy because it's not a conspiracy. I look at facts. And if I'm the NFL, if I'm in charge of NFL security, I'm looking through some financial transactions. I'm checking on some bank accounts.
I'm with you. I say the same thing every week. The same thing every week. It's so bad. It can't, and either that or change the replay rule where every play can be reviewable. That just make it that simple. It doesn't have to. You don't have to give 8,000 challenges to every coach. Just make every play reviewable. That was a disgrace. I want to blame Vrabel if he cold cocked one of those guys. It was embarrassing.
And the good thing about the Patriots is they overcame all that crap and still won that game. It's still favored.
Exactly. All right, let's get to the Red Sox a little bit. Yes, we all knew Alex Bregman was going to opt out. It made all the sense in the world for him. 120 million, 3 years left, so that's $40 million a year. However, you're still upset with John Henry for allowing it to happen? Is that the gist I'm getting?
Look. The sheeple.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Okay, a couple of things. First of all, the sheeple get what they deserve, right? They got what they deserved against the Yankees because they were all, bah, we don't need Devers. Bah, yay, Devers stinks. Bah. Oh, Devers wasn't a team player. Bah. Oh, Jordan Hicks is going to be really good. Bah. Oh, William Henry Harrison or whatever the hell his name is going to be really good. Bah. So what happens against the Yankees? They scored 6 runs and left 22 guys on base in 3 games. They got exactly what they deserved. The sheeple got exactly what they deserved. They're sheeple. Okay? The same thing with Bregman. John Henry lights up his cigar and state-run media, fanboy media, the sheeple were kissing his ass. Oh, my God, look at John Henry. He's like Red Auerbach. He showed them. He's got Alex Bregman.
How do we want to play this, people? You got one way or the other. You could say that John Henry lit a cigar because they signed Alex Bregman for 1 year. Was that the celebration? They signed him for 1 year. So we're celebrating a 1-year deal? Or did he believe that he was going to stick around for 3 years? You can't have it both ways here. So you think it was okay for the owner of the Red Sox to pose for a picture that his wife posted at midnight, smoking a cigar, and we all know what that means in Boston. Don't give me any of this, it's a cigar crap.
Yep.
Okay? This is Boston. We know what cigars mean. So was he celebrating the 1-year Alex Bregman deal because we all knew he was opting out? Or did he think he was going to stay and cheaped out in the end? They had all year to extend this guy. So it's obvious that he's not going to be back, because why would they just simply say, listen, here's the checkbook. There's going to be the Yankees could use his bat. He could hit 63 home runs in that stadium.
The Mets might need his bat too if they lose Alonso.
You don't think the Yankees are going to offer Alex Bregman more than what the Red Sox are going to offer him? I mean, let's be serious. So again, it's just, I don't, look, it's not my money. It's John Henry's money. I don't want to use hate, but it drives me nuts when fans talk about how the Red Sox are saving money. Like, they haven't lowered ticket prices. Are ticket prices coming down? No. Is Nesson any cheaper? No. Is the beer any cheaper? No. Is the parking any cheaper? No. Is the food any cheaper? No. They're not lowering prices when they cut payroll, right? So I don't understand why people get like, oh, well, Marcelo Mayer's a better deal than Alex Bregman because he's going to save them. What did they do with the $33 million they saved on Devers? They sure as hell didn't spend it on players.
And what does this mean if you're right and they don't go after Bregman? So, I mean, the Yankees are probably going to offer him $50 million a year minimum. The Red Sox are going to have to do better than that if they want him. And then it's the Pete Alonso thing. So if we were so high on they're going to keep Bregman, or maybe even Trevor Story, who's also hit a much lower to opt out. But now what are they going to, now if they do lose him, Bill, then what do you do?
Well, you have the 22-year-old kid with a bad wrist playing third base. That's what you have. And you have people who think, oh, well, they'll be fine with this. Hey, listen, I don't, I'm no athlete, but if you're 22 and you're having wrist problems at 22, the same way that Roman Anthony, who, again, and he's like Yaz, he looks like Yaz, but if you're 21 and you're having back muscle problems, that's not a good sign. Because it's not like, Gronk was always hurt because he was, jumping on the pile and getting killed and stuff. These are just like injuries that just were like structural, or it wasn't like when Trevor Story would get hurt. He always got hurt because he was playing balls out, hurting his shoulder or his hand. Mayer had a structural wrist injury, and God only knows what's wrong with Roman Anthony. Sounds like he needs a little Alex Guerrero to me.
Do you think the Red Sox media, and I don't listen to a lot of it up there, I see some tweets and stuff, but I kind of assumed that he was going to opt out after they didn't do like what you said, get the extension right out of the gate. Unless there's something behind the scenes that we don't know about, he didn't want to do it. Figured he'd get into a bidding war. But this is the leader of this team right out of the gate, right from spring training. You were there, I was there. We saw it right in Fort Myers, right out of the gate. Do you think the Red Sox media people think that, we expected it to happen? Don't worry, the Red Sox they'll come around and get it. That's a huge gamble to take, and I'm with you. It's not a gamble that they should take. They haven't proven, unless they prove us wrong. Until they do that, I think we're screwed as far as Red Sox fans and Bregman. I think we're screwed.
Well, I've been a Red Sox fan. I went to my first game in 1970. I was 5. I'm thinking they're screwed ever since, but that's just my makeup. Again, what drives me nuts is the duplicity and the dishonesty. And if you're going to light up a cigar in Boston, knowing what that means, because you signed Alex Bregman, but it was only for a year, and all along you knew that he was going to leave,
Don't light cigars. Don't blow smoke up my ass.
It was a Garrett Crochet cigar.
Okay, don't do that. Don't
Mhm.
don't. We're not like 10-year-old Wally, like yay Wally. The Red Sox had a good year. They had one game. Game one against the Yankees was their Mona Lisa. That was their masterpiece. Unfortunately, they needed another one and didn't get it. So, they showed for one day that the plan was perfect. Unfortunately, it wasn't good enough. The Red Sox did what everybody said they would do, make the playoffs and not get out of the first or second round. And that's exactly what they did. So they got a 3 out of 5 on their personnel review. They achieved standards. So, yeah, they're going to have to, again, look, it always comes down to money, right? When hasn't it come down to money? It always comes down to money. And as of now, this ownership group is not committed to spending what it takes to put a championship team on the field. That's
weren't we just talking about 2
bottom
weeks
line
ago?
for everything.
Weren't we talking about 2 weeks ago? I think you even thought that they would make a legitimate, serious run at Pete Alonso. But we talked about it. I was surprised that you thought that. I was like, well, I'll believe it when I see it. But so have you changed your mind because this happened that they're not going to make a serious run at?
When I saw Pete Alonso asking for 7 years, I'm with him on it. I'm like that. Yeah, if his demand is 7 years, no, the Red Sox won't make a serious run at him, and frankly, I don't think they should.
Mm-hmm.
But and I'm the last guy to say. I mean, he's out of his mind if he thinks he's going to get a 7-year deal. I don't know. Again, it's probably a negotiation ploy. I mean, I'm all for Pete Alonso. I don't think even I would spend John Henry's money for 7 years, but if they can get him, for a reasonable number, sure. I don't think the market on him is going to be anything close to what it's going to be on Bregman, because, like you said, Bregman is exactly what the Yankees need, right? Aaron Judge, he's not a leader. Stanton, he's not a leader. I mean, Judge is a great player, but he's aloof. He's like DiMaggio. He's not a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And Bregman is a leader, and he's exactly what the Yankees need. Exactly what they need. They know it. He knows it. That ballpark. Oh my God! With him and Judge in the lineup, they could both hit 70 home runs next year, or at least be on base. They'll have 400 walks between the two of them.
All you need is a pop fly in right field.
Yeah, and so again, I understand, and yeah, am I surprised that Bregman opted out? Of course not. But again, I also didn't post a photo of myself smoking a cigar after I signed him to what could very well be a 1-year deal.
That is so fucking lame. It really is. I thought that was when I first saw it this morning. I'm like, is that actually happened? She did that last night.
No, that was after they signed.
After they signed Bregman. I mean,
she posted that photo at midnight. Where that story, they signed Bregman, it was a night, and that story went up on our Instagram feed at midnight or around midnight. Like, look at us, we're smoking the cigar. So look, if you're going to play the Red Auerbach card, you better make sure that you didn't stack the deck with the Jeremy Jacobs cards.
That's fair. That's fair. Bill, you're the best. What else you got going on at bookies.com? Obviously some great stuff.
Yeah, actually, I'm working on a piece, probably up today, maybe tomorrow, about how the sports books deal with NBA player load management.
Oh, very interesting. That's I look forward to reading that. Fantastic.
Because because it actually came up in my discussion when I was working on another story. And one of the operators I was talking to mentioned it. We sort of covered everything, and I'm like, wow, geez, that is a great story. So I've reached out to a bunch of books. Hopefully, I'll hear back some, in the next couple of days. And the NBA has new rules that they started 2 years ago, so it's not quite as bad as it used to be. But you still take a risk when you buy tickets, and if you're betting Thursday's game on Tuesday, you got to be wary of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll take, obviously they'll put up props and they'll take them down. I mean, if somebody doesn't play, the market's canceled and you get your money back. So
Gotcha.
if you're betting Jalen Brown over 15 rebounds Thursday night because he's playing an ass team and he sits, obviously that market's going to be.
Yeah.
Every book operates that way. So there's no risk involved in a prop bet. Actually, there's much less risk involved in prop bets than in game bets because game bets, if the game's played, they're going to move the line. So, the risk on betting a prop bet when a player is going to sit is zero because if he sits or doesn't play or doesn't dress, they're not going to, the market will resolve to zero and you'll just get your money back.
And hopefully the coach doesn't play as you start Jalen Brown for 2 minutes and then, or not Bazula, and then sits him for the rest of the game, and then you're really screwed.
Well, that unfortunately, we are dealing with mitigated risk, right? I mean, gambling is gambling for a reason.
Yep.
All these books now they negate they're negating props on football players that are injured in the first or second quarter. I'm really not a big fan of that. I understand why they do it, and it's nice for customers. But it also, sort of encourages like what you said. Well, gee, they sat him after 2 minutes. Well, I mean, eventually there's a risk involved here, right? Which is why you always want to bet the under because all the intangibles, right, always side with the under. Injury, blowout where a guy sits, weather, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So you always want to bet the under as a default position because the intangibles are always on your side. And it's the same with props, right? If he fouls out, right? What happens if somebody gets a double technical, loses his mind, and gets tossed, and after 2 minutes, you're screwed.
Absolutely.
So but that's gambling, right? That's the risk you take. I mean, if you can never ensure any outcome, or it's not gambling, right?
Absolutely, no question. Bill, you're the man. Thank you so much. We look forward to reading your stuff on bookies.com. Glad you're back from Vegas and lots of great stuff. So get to bookies.com and check out Bill Sparrow, senior betting analyst for that wonderful organization. Thanks, Bill. We will talk next week.
Okay. Thank you, Pete.
All right. There we go. All right. It is from one great guest to another, but there was history made last night in the National Hockey League at Madison Square Garden.
Shots now 9 apiece. Schneider with the puck. He hit a post earlier in the period. Now Vakanainen trying to get it deep. Here comes Frederick. Frederick moving it up to Stark and he scores.
Middle of the ice is open, right? Now the gap, the Rangers attempt to get it in. The gap between Vakanainen and Schneider is just too big, right? We'll take a look now. This puck, does that go off the linesman? It goes off the linesman, and Schneider is head up ice, assuming the puck.
In a very New York Jet type of statistic, the New York Rangers become the first NHL team in history to get shut out in each of their first 3 home games of the year. It's the 180-minute drought, the second longest behind the incredible Pittsburgh Pirates of 187 minutes and 19 seconds way back in 1928. And that is the stat of the year. It pleases me as we welcome in our great NHL insider, Mick Colagio. How about that? I mean, all is right with the world. The Jets and the Rangers stink. The Yankees didn't make it to the World Series. How about that stat, though, Mick? How about that stat? I'm sure you saw it last night after the game. Good morning. Welcome, Mick Colagio, rinkwrapmc.com, and great NHL insider.
Had Cam Neely been president of the New York Rangers, he might be asking or commenting right now off the cuff saying it looks like we're trying to win 0-0. But, nobody wants to badmouth Mike Sullivan, who is one of only 2 coaches to win the Stanley Cup in consecutive years in the salary cap era. I don't count John Cooper. So Just an incredible start for the Rangers, who played the Bruins in the preseason. And I gotta say, I didn't like how they looked, and they had a lot of varsity out there. So
Well, that was the
I'm
last game
not
they played.
sure.
The Bruins scored 4 straight goals, right, to win it 5-4, right?
Well, they
I know.
were having their way with the Bruins through a couple of periods there. They looked like they were going to win that game going away, and then Adam Fox, their offensive defenseman, who grew up playing with Charlie McAvoy on Long Island, he made a very lazy play, which is typical when you're playing your first game of the preseason, top of his own defensive zone circle. He kind of leaned on the puck, didn't really move his feet to get around the right side of it. And what happened was he got caught in a rut or something, and Mikey Payne in the Isomont, uh, really saw an opportunity, stole the puck, and then their whiz kid prospect, Gabe Perreault from out of Boston College, came whizzing by on the flyby trying to swipe it from Isamont. Isamont dodged him. Now he's past two guys, and then he fakes out the goalie and deposits it. Nice backhand roofer, looked very reminiscent of Raymond Bork. And and that started the Bruins on a roll, and they came back to win that meaningless game. But yeah, that's I don't really know what to say right now, except some teams start hot, some
Yeah.
teams start cold, and the dust settles. Generally speaking, everybody talks about American Thanksgiving. Canada, I say that because Canada just had its Thanksgiving, and we also 11/1, November 1st is also a key date where the NHL, um, 1 out of 7 teams that's out of the playoff pool is going to make the playoffs. Sometimes that team wins the Stanley Cup. Sometimes that team makes a coaching change in January and is near the bottom of the league, like the 16 Penguins or the 19 Blues, and then everything comes together as it should have from the beginning, after a cataclysmic overhaul. So, you just don't know. I mean, right now it's a tough start for them. But to me, the history also being made there for Bruins fans paying attention was that the turnover was made by a former first round draft pick of the Boston Bruins and collected by a former first round draft pick of the Boston Bruins who went in and scored. So I just had somebody question me on X the other day. Trent Frederick, good hands, like sending me a kind of an emoji face, like, are you out of your mind? Kind of a face. And I'm like, you know what? I'll let it play out. I'll let it play out. I'll let the comments stand. I said he has good hands. I've watched him play for 5 years. Trent Frederick has good hands. So there.
Paul Denacey says this is why he's so missed in New England. The most enjoyable. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Most enjoyable time in my car that I ever spent was when I was listening to Paul Denacey, great Hendrick, even though he went to LaSalle, but more known for his accomplishments at Bishop Hendricken, and now also one of the great senior softball players in the world. I don't say that lightly. He's unbelievable. So
Is he part of that tour that they used to do? What was that guy's name that used to go around the U.S. with his slow pitch team and like beat the hell out of everybody and like a carnival touring the nation?
He's been in senior league for a long time. I forget, but he's very, very good. And and hopefully, Paul, I'll see you. I'm headed up tomorrow, and my 40th reunion in Hendricken is on Friday and Saturday. I'll be there. I can't make the Saturday festivities, but I will be there Friday with some friends. So I'm really looking forward to. Hopefully, you'll be up there. It'd be great to see you.
So you're not going to the official banquet. You're just going to go to the unofficial parties
no,
lead up.
It's official on campus. I think that there's a mass, and then there's going to be a football pep rally. They play Central that night. There's a big dinner at the school and a meet and greet. Going to tour of the school again because it's grown by leaps and bounds. And
right.
I've spoken there a couple of times, but not in the last 20 years. So. Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing, hopefully reconnecting with a lot of guys that I really haven't seen in 40 years. A couple
Fantastic.
of them I have, but it's always It's
I
always
had my 50th Walpole, Massachusetts high school a year ago. Had my 50th. It was a lot of fun. Our 40th was hilarious. That was amazing.
yeah.
So it's these things. I know some people say, "Oh, yeah, I'm not really into that." Right? Yeah. Doesn't matter if there's any individual who you might want to connect with. They might have a story that is going to change your relationship
Mhm.
with them and make you want to seek them out and be with them at a difficult time in their life. You might find somebody who you never really finished a conversation or something that you weren't friends with in high school and you should have been and you wish you were, and then you find out you can be, and it's awesome. There's just um there's
Mhm.
just a lot of opportunity that comes with that you're never really sure how to navigate unless you're somebody super popular like Pete who's
Well,
who's
no,
gonna show
but
up and
here's the
everybody's
thing.
gonna.
Here's the thing. I mean, I wasn't the greatest student, nor wasn't I the greatest. I was an A student that did basically C work because I probably had ADD back in the day and just
I
did.
think you did.
I probably did, and just didn't
You
realize
DID
it
did.
because I got A's and D's at Henrikin, depending on the subject and this, that. However, I would never have gotten to where I am. I'm convinced of it. Had I not gone to that school, stuck it out for 4 years, there isn't a day I didn't walk out of there. I think I've told you this, where I didn't laugh my head off about something one of the brothers or a lay teacher had said or a kid. I mean, it just was unbelievable. I wasn't the greatest athlete there, didn't not the greatest student, but there's two things I know in my life that I would never have gotten to the career that I fortunately have gotten to over 39 years of doing this if I didn't go to Bishop Hendricken High School and if I didn't meet John Parenti. And I've told him that to his face. And obviously, people but I'm saying you were, and I feel the same way about you. But John was like my first real radio mentor, and the discipline that I
Kind of
learned.
mine too. I mean, after you, I
Yeah,
followed
yeah,
you into the
yeah,
business,
yeah.
and John opened up a world of opportunity for me that I never believed would have happened so suddenly, if ever. So, yeah, absolutely. These moments, these opportunities in life are
And
precious.
I take nothing for granted. When I went there, I had full intentions of trying to make the hockey team in 1982, not knowing I would be on the ice with a bunch of professionals or big time D1 players. Who knew at
Future
13,
New Jersey Devil.
freaking 14 years old and all that stuff. But I wouldn't trade any of it. I wouldn't trade any of it. The experience there and what it had a very profound effect on me in my life and how I tried to live it. But the discipline that I learned there and the appreciation of what that school had to offer. And I used to say to the kids all the time, a couple of times I spoke, I mean, it's probably true in every high school. Number one, even back then, this is 20, I said, don't pick on each other, which that really didn't happen at Hendricken. A lot of that stuff didn't happen because it wasn't tolerated. I mean, some cases you had one striking out. They didn't give a shit. I mean, if you screwed up that badly, you were going to cause somebody that much pain. You were going to get expelled. Everybody
You
knew the
got you
rules.
got more than the ruler on the fingers for being left-handed.
Sometimes you did. Sometimes you did. I won't say somebody didn't get smacked in the head, but if it did, they had it coming. Our vice principal, Mr. Hickey, we used to be at the State House in Rhode Island, and he would stand under the clock during the main corridor with a pitching wedge in his hand like this. I mean, he would never do it, but it's like, hey, put your jacket on. I mean, we didn't have uniforms. We had to wear jacket and ties. And I went there by my own accord. I wasn't forced to go to a Catholic high school. I went because I thought I'd get a better education and for the sports teams that I didn't make. But nevertheless, I still, I
Well,
treated well. But I mean,
my dearest
I learned a lot.
my dearest friend remaining in Walpole,
Yeah.
Peter Betro, his dad, when we were growing up, was on school committee. Guess what? Every kid in their family went Catholic.
Yeah.
When they got to high school, they went to Zavarian.
Mhm.
Maria obviously went to
Yeah.
the girls' school. I'm trying to remember which one it was, but they were in Catholic. Peter was jealous of us. When he sees our yearbook of Walpole High perched up on the top of the telephone pole, looking down on the scene back there.
Yeah.
And all the kids hanging out and smoking joints underneath army jackets and the school buses and everything else, and the the girls. Back then it was segregation, and so it really. I look at that, I say, you know something though? He wound up becoming, if Walpole had a mayor, he would be it because he's taking care of so many people in that town, helping them even in retirement with insurance and problems and little things, anything. If you call Peter, he's like Tony Soprano. It's amazing, and it's he's the best buddy these days. We spend time talking on the phone when we can't be together physically. And hey, we might go see the Psych Furs this Friday night at MGM Fenway. We'll see. It's whether we're going to find out how much pull Maria has.
Hey, I saw them with you in Providence one night many years ago.
Right, we did.
That was a great, that was a great show.
That was at the old campus club.
Yes. Oh my God,
That's right.
that was a great show. You said because I liked a couple of their songs. I said, "No, I'll go." And you were in your.
No, I remember your favorite one was hard.
That night. You were doing Bellagio. I mean, I got two moves. I got this, and I got the roll. You were going nuts.
Well, I was having the time of my life because here I was seeing this band that I had never seen before. I've probably seen them 6 times since then over the years, but that was my favorite experience because it was just incredible to sit there and actually see them in such a small venue.
It was like an underground club we went into. It was like an underground club because I'd never been there.
Club. Yeah, it was a campus club. Yeah, it was this boxy building in the middle of South Providence, and it's no longer. The building still exists, but I don't know what's there. And they used to empty it out of the rock show. When the rock show ended, then there'd be this 200-foot line of gorgeous young ladies waiting to get in for the dance segment of the evening, which would start around 12:30 or something. And I'd be like, "Nah, that ain't my jam," but boy.
And the last thing I want to say about my high school, but it was really interesting, and I think I've told you this before, but I went to Narragansett Senior High School to start when we first moved down there. Great school. It only been around for a few years. Wonderful. You've been there. It's a beautiful school, beautiful campus, beautiful football, all that stuff. But when I decided I wanted to go to Hendrick and took the test and got in, they called down. This is a true story. This is what happens a lot. They called us down individually. Myself, David Caprio, yes, the late judge's son, Frank Caprio's son, David, whose brother Frank Jr. was already a Hendricken, called me down, David, my friends Jeff, and the other 5 of us that from Narragansett that had committed, basically tried to talk us out of going. And it was strictly for sports. Strictly. They didn't want to lose potential football, baseball, basketball players. I knew that why. It wasn't for academic reasons. They tried to throw that stuff out. I'm like, look.
I wonder if Coach Zepp was already on doing football yet there.
Oh,
he was a long-time guy when I was at the Narragnsett Times. He was already pretty entrenched.
Coach Zepp had just started. He was very good. I mean, my 7th and 8th grade year, they lost. They were like 9-1 both years, and they lost to Warren. Warren had a really good football team. And they went to the championship, I think, when I was in 8th grade. They went there, my freshman in Hendricken, they went there because they lost in the championship game before Hendricken came on and beat, I think, East Providence my freshman year, 6-0, the state championship, in a blizzard at Brown Stadium. I remember dipping my hands into hot chocolate that my dad had gotten me, because it was so freaking cold. But they tried to
it was a cold night. I had to cover a Super Bowl doubleheader in the late 80s. Yeah. East Greenwich lost to Rogers over at the stadium there, right next to the Tennis Hall of Fame. And then that night, it was freezing cold. Yeah. And Narragansett, Blessing and Mangili absolutely tore up Barrington. Absolutely tore him a new one. I think it was like 30-0 or 36-0.
My brother-in-law's cousin was Peter Blessing.
I couldn't feel my fingers. And the late great Bob Dick of the Projo, he had the first time I ever seen a recorder, a mini cassette recorder. And I was like, man, if I got to get one of those, because I'm like trying to write this stuff down. The ink is freezing. It's yikes.
Well, Pete Blessing was there when I was a 7th and 8th grade, and he's my brother-in-law's, I think, first cousin. So and then he went to Princeton. I believe went to he was he was throwing the ball around like Marino when no one was throwing the ball around in high school. And Jim Zepp was a great coach. He got really mad at me when I left, even though we became sort of friends as my career blossomed. But I said something in 8th grade to a kid that wasn't hustling in a softball game, just in gym class, and he's like, "You're going to yell that way at the brothers next year in Hendricken?" And I go, "I won't have to." I said, "Because that kid would be off the team. He's not hustling." I was pissed. Anyway.
Oh boy.
Anyway,
Exit parting words.
But Peter was throwing the ball all over the place, and if I'm not mistaken, he got
awesome.
a great ride at Princeton, and I think on the first series he ever played in college, he was first series. I think he broke his arm and leg on the same series, and then never really was the same, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that happens to a lot of kids. You're a fish in a bigger pond, and something goes wrong, and you enter the great sea of careers that didn't quite find their full story.
But man, he was an awesome quarterback. At least I remember Junior. They throw the ball all over the place.
Yeah,
crazy.
Awesome.
Anyway, all right.
Who knew we were going to talk about Narragansett High football today? Wow.
Yeah, who knew? Who knew? I think my Hawks actually lost to Sal in another thriller a couple of weeks ago, 22-21, and hopefully they'll get to play again in the finals. But anyway, Coach Crawford over there, Croft has done an amazing job. They won a gazillion times. Well, that was the other thing. I didn't realize back in the day. I knew they were great athletes, and I knew it was great pressure academic-wise and all that stuff, which I liked and all that. But you didn't realize some of the kids in your class would be, so good at Division I sports, and a lot of them moving on in all 4 of the majors, all professional sports. And then after my time when Rocco's there, when Rocco Baldelli and all that stuff, and people don't realize he was such a great athlete, not only in track and baseball, obviously, but he probably was one of the best high school volleyball players in the country, probably would have made the Olympic team if he pursued it and all that. He was a phenomenal volleyball player. Not to mention track and field, where he kind of single-handedly used to win field.
He had good ups.
But anyway, we digress.
Hey, completely off topic in regard to Bill, your previous guest.
Yes.
I got to say, when I heard about it this week, that suing LeBron over not playing because you decided that you interpreted his second decision in a certain way, and then saying, I bought $865 worth of tickets to see him play a game, that this isn't a farewell tour. And it's like, I'm suing you. I want my ticket money back. That might be the dumbest case I've ever heard. And if the plaintiff somehow won it, could you imagine the precedent it would set for people who actually do have cases?
He won't. It won't win. It's not the first frivolous litigious lawsuit like that that's been filed. There've been a couple over the last several years.
It's a fundamental risk anybody takes in buying tickets to anything.
I want to know the lawyer who takes the case and then gets a retainer fee for it. That's the real crime right there. Is any lawyer who takes that case and thinks they can
ambulance chaser.
Yeah, no question. All right, quickly on the Bruins. They start off at 3-0. I predicted on my show the other day that they would on Columbus Day that they would not win that game. I just had a feeling Tampa Bay was due. They got down.
Well, they were 0-2.
They were 0-2. They made a game of it. The Bruins made a game of it. Gord was good, but they fell for it. But overall, pretty happy with the 3-1 start. Right?
Absolutely. Now let's remember, as the Bruins head west here and start tomorrow night in Vegas, that they have elevated by excellent goaltending. They've given up flurries of grade A, high danger, whatever the fancy statters want to call it. I just watched the game, and it's quite apparent that they get sloppy at times with their transitional play in the neutral zone. And some teams, Tampa brought to TD Garden on Monday afternoon, and it resolved intense, hard checking, hard physical effort at both blue lines to cut off plays. And the Bruins the Bruins looked like they needed to drink 6 Red Bulls, and like Peter Griffin, and they hadn't had them, and they used to always disappoint the home crowd in the New Arena era in Boston with some of their flat matinee performances. This one here wasn't as flat as it was overmatched.
The matinee performances, really, the last 5 years, right? They have not been good.
I'd say 25 years. They've had a lot of. even in better eras,
Yeah, you're right.
including their championship era, they had these clunkers that would throw themselves in there, much more likely to have a stinker on a 1 p.m. than they would
Yeah.
on a 7 p.m. So it's just something that goes with the territory of home game hockey, home team hockey, especially if they've had a measure of success. And then you get a high quality opponent that's pretty angry about the way their season started off. And then they come in and they pretty much assert themselves against the Bruins. And they look like a categorically better hockey team that day. Are they a categorically better hockey team? Of course they are. But they're a veteran team that's been at the long end of their veteran core for quite some time. But the real thing that stood out to me with the Tampa Bay Lightning was the play of Anthony Cirelli at center.
Oh,
He
yeah.
really looks like their number one center now, not Braden Point. I always thought that last year, I think he played in the Four Nations, and I was really not impressed with either guy. But I thought Point played better as the season kind of went along. And I really didn't think Cirelli played well last year for them. This year, Cirelli plays like he's been personally challenged. Like, hey, are you going to play or not? That's how he's playing hockey right now. He's playing like somebody talked to him and said, "You're at a career crossroads, son, and it's time for you to live up to your potential and stop being so comfortable here." And he played it now. He played it. He was the best player in the game, I think.
Oh, there's no question about it. I'm trying to get confirmation from Peanut Gallery, aka Elaine in the other room. So she thinks she works with a lot of people overseas and everything else. And one of the people she's been working with lately, his last name is Geeky, and she thinks she might be a distant relative to Morgan.
Which would also make her a distant relative to Tampa's fourth line center, Connor, who's 6'4", several years younger than Morgan. I think Morgan's 26 or 27. Connor Geeky is only 21. That kid is going to be excellent. They're playing. John Cooper's letting him play center on the fourth line right now, so they can have a four quality lines. But Connor Geeky has top six ability. He is going to work his way up that lineup probably sooner rather than later. But if they're determined to keep him at center, then maybe the plan will be to decide what they're going to. I don't know really. I haven't looked at their contractual situations lately and know how long they're connected to Braden Point. But he's had a heck of a run there.
Well, it
But
makes sense.
I
She
could
just
see
said
Connor
that
Geeky moving into that spot.
she just said that this woman she works for is from Florida, but not sure if it's her maiden name or or surname. So
Married. Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, it makes sense. Florida geeky connection. We'll see.
The geeky has become a prominent thing on the East Coast.
Yeah, no,
Morgan Geeky,
I
by the
love
way,
the way
little
he plays.
footnote, Morgan Geeky wanted to be a baseball player, but he didn't quite make it in baseball, so he turned to hockey, which found a home for him, and he's now a 30-goal scorer.
Isn't it amazing the kind of talent some of these dual kids? Sometimes,
You get them.
Remember Dave Winfield got recruited in baseball, football, and basketball. If probably could have played hockey too at Minnesota if he wanted to back in the day.
He's probably that good an athlete. Yeah. If he had it in his life in a major way, you never know. But this we get some good ones as far as the multi-sport athletes. North of the border to Canada, they played baseball growing up. Cam Neely played basketball growing up. PK Subban was a point guard on his basketball team, high school basketball team.
Lacrosse is still the national sport. It's not hockey. People don't realize that.
Say what? Oh, that is officially so. And if you talk to Sean Thornton, who obviously
with the Panthers, saw him a couple of years ago.
He finished with the Panthers and held a role in their organization for some time. He's a huge lacrosse guy. He does not watch hockey games when he's at home. He watches lacrosse.
I was fortunate enough to be at a Panthers Blackhawks game a couple of years ago in a luxury box. He walked by immediately. He waved. I said, "Come on in." So he came in, introduced him to everybody. He was such a great guy. Such a great guy.
Awesome guy. He would challenge the media too.
Yeah. Well, that's and win.
Oh, it wasn't a fight that any of us wanted to have.
No, not at all. All right,
he was great.
So far, last thing. So Marco Sturm, I I like what I've seen. It's a different type of looking team than we saw the second half of last year, right? I mean, you can see the difference. It's almost Vrabel-esque in coaching, and I hope it becomes that successful.
I'd say that that's very similar way of looking at it because you're talking about a guy who was in a situation where everything possible blew up in his face, and then you move forward a year, and you have a situation where the Bruins were determined to a man, cliche alert, to enter the season with complete resolve, and that was what they needed to do in order to be successful in any dimension this season. I just realized I'm up against my timeline.
You got another. Oh, that's right. You have.
I got a podcast with Haggerty. He's waiting for me.
Oh, I thought that was yesterday.
No, it's always Wednesday with him.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I told you I'd have you up by 9:20.
But we didn't start. We didn't start on time.
No, I know that.
Right at 9, and we.
I'm sorry. I thought the 9:20 was yesterday. Might tell him I'm okay. Get out of here. My bad. I'm sorry. I forgot. Completely forgot.
No.
All right. See you. There we go. There we go.
The best sign off ever. I'm out.
See ya. Mic drop. See you. Mic drop. All right, Angel Martinez. What's coming up on the network today?
Today is Tuesday. It is Ain't That Right with Duncan Dad. So that'll be come up at 1 p.m. today. And that's about it for today. And then, of course, the next couple of days we'll be off. Pete will be at his 40th high school reunion, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. So enjoy the time back home in Rhode Island.
I will, and I will send you some pictures, hopefully. And go Canes, beat Louisville, and UNC, whatever California is out there, lay the points. They're going to blow UNC out of the water. Angel, you're the best. Thanks to my great guests today, Trevor Harris, Bill Speros, and Mick Calaggio. I'm Pete. I'll be back on Monday at 7 in the a.m. here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. See ya!